For a sixth time, Saskatoon will host the Canadian Men's Curling Championship, the Tim Hortons Brier.
The motivation is to play against the best teams in the world.
We see ourselves in the playoffs, and that's definitely where we want to be.
We basically grew up at the curling rink.
Regardless, I guess, the outcome, the atmosphere will be electric.
Let's go and try and win this thing again, and we've just got to get over that hump. People are happy to see us out there and be that guy.
This is the show. Always ready to play here.
We are in the heart of the prairies, which is also the heart of curling country here in Saskatchewan, where they just love their curling. Saskatoon on this opening day of the Tim Hortons Brier. And opening day is also picture day. The 12 skips and their respective teams lining up for their group photo before they start throwing stones at each other to determine this year's Canadian Men's Curling Champion. As on this Saturday, we welcome you inside and say hello, Canada, and welcome to our coverage of the Tim Hortons Brier. It's an interesting field, to say the very least. There are the familiar names, past champions. There are names that we know who are in new positions, and then there are those just new names. We haven't seen them before. So we have names like Cotter and Kevin Cooey. We know them, but it's that Scott Manners right in the middle representing Saskatchewan from Battleford. Brand new team, rookie team, a lot of pressure on him. When we go further east, names such as Glenn Howard, all the way to the east. Brad Gushue, gold medal winner 06. But right in the middle, Jamie Murphy, Nova Scotia, the second all-rookie team. As Linda and Russ settle in as well for the week, I think most of the predictions are that it will be Kevin Cooey or Glenn Howard in that 1-2 position. Is that fair?
Yeah, you can't blame people. They've won it before. Of course, they're favorites. But look at the contrast between those two former champions. You have Glenn Howard, one of the best players ever. So consistent, here to set some records. First of all, he's tying the record of the 14th appearance. He's won it 3 times. But you look at the last 6 years, and you have to feel a little sorry for the great player because he's also made 4 finals, and he's lost those. But look at the comparison. You've got Glenn Howard, consistency over and over being here, and then you've got Kevin Cooey, 1 appearance, but he did so well.
Yeah, it's amazing when you look at those two teams. Glenn's actually lost the Brier 10 times. He won't bring that up. He won it 3, but Kevin's never lost one. Played 1, won it, played very, very well. Here he is again. The only question mark is Pat Simmons, probably. He new player in the team, obviously a great player from this province, but the start of the year was slow for the Cooey team, but the last half's been special.
We're going to get things underway with Quebec against Manitoba. The Manitoba champions skipped by Rob Fowler out of Brandon, Manitoba. We know him. We've seen him before. He finished second at the Brier. 25 years after his father, Brian, represented the province, here he is. Son emulating father, and father is the coach.
Yeah, I played in that Brier against his dad, and here's Glenn out there against his son. That kind of tells you something, doesn't it?
You are old.
But, to be mentored by Kerry Burtnick and Jeff Stoughton, Robbie, you can't be considered a rookie here. I know he's skipping for his first time, but he knows the rules. He's been in all the big spiels. He'll be tough.
Robert Desjardins, we saw him last year in London, Linda, playing third position, moves up to skip. We've also seen him be very emotional.
Well, we have, but look at Heather Nedwin last week at the Scotties, and she won. You have to control it. I like what he talks about, though. Last year, maybe not so good at 3rd, 8th ranked. They've changed things up, and he's talking about sports psychology, staying within the game, controlling what you can, playing your game, and he's going to have to do that to win.
We are all so excited to be back in Saskatoon for the Tim Hortons Brier.
When we put the team together, our goal was to do what we did in Dauphin. We knew what we were capable of, and we definitely set our season up to peak at the provincials, and that's what we did, and we're here now, and we're looking to move forward with it.
I am emotional. I love curling so much. I'm very passionate about curling. But I'm also a math teacher, so my third player and my coach are there to make sure that I'm not going to make those emotional choices. but always choices based on rationals and statistics.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Roll Up the Rim to Win. It's time for Tim's. The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association. By M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. And by Cashmere Bathroom Tissue. Nothing feels like cashmere.
The Credit Union Center with 4 sheets in play, and here are all the games on the ice for this opening draw. Our feature game is on Sheet A. Sheet B, it's Mike Goody from Charlottetown against Scott Manners from Battleford in his Brier debut. It'll be Ontario against New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. Jamie Murphy comes right out of the gate in his debut, going up against Jamie Cooey from Yellowknife. Our featured game is Manitoba and Quebec. Time to meet the teams now. It's brought to you by Ford. Drive one.
Hi, I'm Robert Desjardins, skip of Team Quebec. My lead is Steve Villeneuve. My second is Stephen Monroe. My third is Jean-Sébastien Roy. And we curl out of Chicoutimi Curling Club.
Hi, I'm Rob Fowler, skip from Team Manitoba. Our lead is Derek Samogolski. Our second is Richard Daniel. Our third is Alan Lyburn, and we curl out of the Brandon Curling Club in Brandon, Manitoba.
Interestingly enough, across the entire sheet for this opening draw, all the Yellow Rocks have won the last rock, the hammer, in this first end of play. So Manitoba to play yellow. Good luck from Desjardins to Fowler as he moves out now. Quebec will play the Red Rocks. And to get us underway, this 2012 Tim Hortons Brier from Saskatoon. The Quebec lead is Steve Villeneuve.
We do have 5 players in this game with prior Brier experience, but you know what? I think you can probably speak to this best, Russ. When you step out onto that ice for your first game, it still feels exciting and new.
The heart's pounding, the legs are wobbly. It's just so different. Massive crowds, knowledgeable crowds. It doesn't get any better than this. And for your first time here, it is pretty scary to be honest.
Villeneuve with his first comes center line, top 8.
So one thing we do see more often to start the week is a little more open play, and I certainly don't blame the skips for wanting to settle the teams down. First rock in, and this is a hit being played by Manitoba.
But again, Russ, this will go on until Fowler is maybe comfortable with positioning of that stone, correct?
Yeah, the team of Hammer can dictate. They can win 1-0 if you let them. So yeah, they'll wait and see if Quebec throws one at the front. If you get a rollout here, that's what Robbie's looking for, and then he has a low risk deuce opportunity by throwing up a corner guard, and Quebec's going to have to make all the shots not to prevent a chance to come around a corner.
So opening draw, opening game. Let's take a look at the game plan brought to you by World Financial Group. Your dreams, our strategies.
For those that saw Rob Fowler in the provincial play, he was fantastic, and he is the key for this team with that draw weight. I think he should push Quebec a little bit when he does have the hammer. Of course, the first time we've already said maybe not, but eventually when this game gets comfortable for him, push them and make them make those key draws.
All right, guys. Okay, good.
Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, even though Robbie has a skip, we talked about it in our opening. The teams they beat in Manitoba just to get here. Mike McHugh and Jeff Stoughton and a whole bunch of great teams. And the way their provincials react, you have to win a lot of games.
If you talk about Quebec, I think it's nice for them to run up and down a little bit. Those emotions, they are going to be out there for this first game, and they want to control that. And then it's up to the skip to monitor how the team is doing. And we're saying Rob is probably doing that to start this very first game. See how ready they are. See if they look like they're getting those rocks in the right spot. Then you can go.
Keep it up a bit. Yeah.
You just look at those stands. When we walk into this building, we do a quick look around to see what it looks like. And some of the coaches here, the experienced coaches, actually bring the teams in for their first walk around the building to start to look at things, because you get different depth perception based on the colors, the position of the scoreboard. They're different at one end than the other, for example, where the scoreboards are positioned. And those fans are right next to you if you're playing on the side sheets, and that will also impact on the ice a little bit.
And the building has changed since the last time we were here, 2004. They have filled in the end zones. And so now this Credit Union Center, which opened in 1988 with 7,700 seats, now seats for the Saskatoon Blades of the Western Hockey League 15,200.
Definitely get some airflow changes to the outsides of the sheets. They're the ones that tend to be affected the most in most arenas, and with such a big crowd and warmer temperatures, they're going to have to keep an eye on that, the ice makers.
That's right now. That's pretty good. 4 on the middle. Al.
So a chance here for Manitoba to maybe get things going.
Good. 3. Put it tight. Put it tight.
Weather forecast, it has been an odd winter, I think, for most parts of the country. Last week, when we were in Red Deer, most of the temperatures were above freezing until the last weekend. Here again, we had some snow yesterday in Saskatoon. Temperatures are supposed to be in and around the freezing mark, which, according to ice maker Hans Vutrick, is manageable. But towards the end of the week, by the time we get to the playoffs, the temperature is expected to spike +6, +7, maybe even warmer.
Yes, they're worried about the heat load in this building, and if you start to think that the end of the week is when we really pack the fans in and they add to that heat load, it could be trouble. They work so hard on this surface. It's changed a little bit over the last 2 days. We watched practice yesterday, and at times it seemed a little slow. At times there seemed to be straight spots, but we knew by today they would be getting it under control.
Yeah, I think with the, you have to strip the ice down from the hockey situation and flood and flood and flood, put in all the logos, the rings, the tape, all the painting, then you have a green surface. So what all the top ice makers do now is lower that temperature really low, lower than game conditions, to cure the ice a little bit and take away all that greenness and put in some frost.
Okay.
Well, as mentioned, both these skips, Robert Desjardins and Rob Fowler, have been to the Brier before, but we've never seen them in the skip position. So, Brian Mudryk, I would think they might be shaking in their sliders just a little bit.
Victor, will be a little bit of nerves. You know, he is the reason the defending world champion and Brier champion is not here, and that reason is Rob Fowler, an outstanding year in Manitoba. And he's back now as a skip. He said that means there's a leadership role now as well, as they had a meeting before they came out here. Want everyone on his team to know exactly what to expect. He admitted yesterday they felt a bit like cattle between the hot shots, of course the media requests, then the banquet. And then I asked him, who's going to be most nervous? He said, likely me, but I wouldn't have it any other way. As for Robert coming in, he said the nerves hit him about 10 minutes before. He's very excited to be the feature game on television. Both men, obviously, very thrilled to be here.
And in fact, it is keeping those emotions in check, which is so key.
It is, but if we saw that Manitoba final, I was fortunate that it did show in where I live in BC. Rob Fowler in the first end of that final had a team that was making some mistakes. Clearly nerves were playing a part of it, and he was so cool. And that's the key of being a great leader, is you may feel it a little inside, but you don't show it on the outside. And he did a wonderful job of controlling it in that game.
Control?
Yeah.
Let's remember, too, Russ, you know, he leaves the Stoughton team last year to form his own team. Stoughton goes on to win everything. So this is his second year of skipping, but he does, Rob Fowler appeared to me anyway to be a different skip, a different person on the ice. He certainly isn't as talkative. And he even suggests that that may have come from his, as you say, mentoring under the likes of Stoughton and Burtnick.
Well, it doesn't get any better than Stoughton and Burtnick. The years of all, they've seen everything so many times and how to handle all these type of situations. And I don't think we're going to see a nervous start from this team, Manitoba. I really don't. I think they're going to be well prepared.
So we're playing skip stones here in a wide open first end. May surprise some people. That first rock from the Quebec lead, Steve Villeneuve, ended up in the top 8 foot.
Yep. Clean. Just clean. Just clean. Good throw.
Good throw.
Nice throw.
It is true. I think you've mentioned it right away, Vic. The one thing that does happen to people like Rob Fowler and his team and Robert and his team is just the start of this event. You have so much happening those first few days. The public don't really know about it. It's practice and it's things that they have to get done, but it is a busy few days, and so you're actually feeling almost tired when you go to throw your first rock, and that's why it's a little relief just to get that first rock underway. Take a little break from all the other action that's happened.
That's a long day, it really is, and more rocks than you maybe throw ever, and back and forth, and like Rob said, a little bit like cattle, you got to be here, you got to be there, and it's hard to pace yourself. You can't get to these events too early, and it just takes a toll. I was talking to the Brunswick guys, they were exhausted yesterday. A little change with Robert there, Linda. He was played most of yesterday without a broom when he slid out. He slid out without any broom at all.
He does that just for practice. He just likes to get his sense of balance, and that's the only time he does it. He does throw with obviously the stick in play.
Great idea, because if anybody's ever tried that, to throw a curling stone without using some type of device to keep you down on your left side, in this case a right-handed curler.
Through it goes, a blank opening in. First draw, first day. Tim Hortons Brier from Saskatoon. Welcome back to our opening day coverage. Tim Hortons Brier. We want to quickly go over to Ontario, New Brunswick. First end of play. Final stone on the way for Terry Odishaw from Curl Moncton against the former champion, three-time Canadian champion Glenn Howard from Coldwater, Ontario, sitting 2.
Got a chance here at Terry. If he can get past that top red one, hit 3/4 of his own, he could score a single.
And he won't, and so it will be a steal of 2 out of the gate for Ontario and Glenn Howard. And you know this New Brunswick team well, and you know Odishaw well. That is what we can expect to see the entire week.
They'll be bringing a front-end loader every end to take rocks off the ice. I'll guarantee you that.
Our featured game to begin our coverage on this opening day is Quebec-Manitoba. A blank in the first means that the Manitoba champions from the Brandon Curling Club still have the last rock. They have the hammer, playing the yellow stone.
And Rob Fowler has not waited any longer. The first one is in a position just behind the button, and the corner guard goes up. And now Quebec will come back to the center and try and protect that rock that's in the house.
Great shot, Steve.
Good adjustment so far by both teams, putting the broom in the right spot. We noticed it in Red Deer at the Scotties. There's a little bit of a struggle in the first couple of draws. The ice was much straighter yesterday when they were practicing their 1-hour practice and when they were doing their hot shots. So a little bit more curl here, a much warmer air temperature, and so far both skips have got it figured out.
5, you got room. 6, yeah, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. Line's good. Need a 7. It's coming down. Line's good. Hard.
There it goes. Almost 4 feet from the center line when that went over that hog line. Here it goes. This should finish right to the line.
Keep coming. Good shot, Derek.
Right to the pinhole.
One thing we will keep an eye on is the release of each player, because we did see a number of players yesterday struggle with rotation with these rocks that really grab at the end. Once it starts to break, it's breaking hard, and then at the end it's almost spinning on itself. You have to give it enough rotation. I'm not sure the guard for Quebec did. That one was fine, so we'll keep an eye on it, because that will also change the path of these rocks.
Right off. Stay close.
Stay close. 8. Attention, 7 et demi.
No.
Nice angle for Quebec. Pretty easy to dislodge that yellow later.
This will be a tricky turn. It should move. Top 4.
One thing we have to watch too is we looked over and saw Ontario and New Brunswick. For people like Glenn Howard that play these angles a lot, you have to be very careful when you play against him that you don't get caught into setting up some angles, and one little mistake and you could be in trouble. These two skips, we're not really sure, because they're new to skipping this year, how they will cope with these kind of angles. But each one of them has to be really careful to survey after the lineup ends to see, is my rock in the right spot, or do I have to be more careful with the next one?
Little bump's okay. Yep. Good shot.
Richard Deneau Throwing the second stones. Here are your other scores, and we have 2 blanks, Prince Edward Island and Saskatchewan. And there's a blank between Nova Scotia and the team from Yellowknife.
Feeling t'en avais moins. T'en avais moins souvent, hein?
Oui. Ça a l'air, oui. Yep, la ligne.
6!
Comment?
6!
Wow, le rapport. 5.
5!
Ligne est parfaite. Just stop it. Just stop it. No bounce.
Whoa. Bounce un peu.
Stop it. No bounce. Stay close, though. Stay close. Yep. Hard. Hard. Keep the line. Yes.
You know, in doing the interviews yesterday, Linda and Russ, I was fascinated to hear some of the thoughts of the new teams, in particular, new players. And I forget honestly who I was with, and I asked him about the curl on the ice, because that's always a factor. You know, if you come from a province or a club where you play particularly straight ice, this is new. And he said, you know what, we shouldn't be surprised. We watch it all the time on TV for years and years and years. We know it's going to curl. I think sometimes it's more difficult to believe it's going to curl.
Well, the part you really can't, you can watch where they put the broom, but until you're in that hack with a full stadium of knowledgeable curlers, and it's way warmer, you've got the TV lights, it's way brighter, and the ice surface is so much quicker underfoot. It's tough to reenact that sitting on your couch.
Regarde.
Ouais. And I know for me, Linda, the first time I walked into an arena setting, it's this view right here. When you're on the ice and you don't see the back wall of the curling club just above the scoreboard, and you see the stands go up, and you think, wow, how do I deal with this?
Well, it's dealing with it, and then, as I mentioned, the coaches try to get them to look at it, because you actually have a whole different view as far as your depth perception and what you think you need to accomplish. And so it is a very different experience, and simulations are great. Of course, we try and simulate with our teams before they come.
Perfect view right there.
Yeah, but there is nothing like sitting in that hack and having to play the shot, having to put the rotation on, having to trust the broom position, even popping it a little out because you know it'll come back in those spots where they curl.
We talk so much about rotation, but it's a muscle memory. You've maybe played your whole career with 2 rotations. All of a sudden you need 3.5, 4 rotations here. The rock will go the other way with the aggressive stones here. So it's tough to make those decisions when you're playing a world-class team.
We'll see Saskatchewan later in the week, but that was one of the comments that this new Saskatchewan team that's on sheet B currently playing Prince Edward Island, their lead, Mike Armstrong, said, because they play on predominantly straight ice, he said, I'm going to have to, and I know what he meant, he needs to put more rotation, but he called it popping the stone. You don't want to pop it because you'll throw it outside, but I understand what he's saying.
Exactly. The pop is more of an aggressive release. Instead of putting the turn on slowly in a relaxed motion, you almost push it. Oh, nice shot.
Very nice by Alan Lyburn. We're going to see from a little fire from Mr. Lyburn, the former Scottish junior champion.
I think Alan's the key to this team. As you said, Vic years ago won the Scottish championship, but he's been a long time trying to get out of Manitoba. But he can certainly play. Great roller, Linda, because not only is it buried, but it's set up that yellow-red combo, and I think if you hit it on the proper side, you can make that both reds go away.
Yeah, Quebec was looking for a different angle their last one. That's what I was talking about. One little mistake, and you go, whoops, look at what this house is now doing. So it's up to his third, Jean-Sebastien, who actually played second previously at a Brier. So it's a little bit of a new experience for him to kind of get things set up, guarded, protected against that play.
Great spot, Bass.
Chance qu'à la fin, elle part de côté. You see that? Could run it that way. What's that? Could run it the red that way. Well, you could, yeah.
Yeah. Just saw what it does.
I like this call a lot. Rob was thinking of coming around and aiming at that inch of yellow he can see. He's going to get Allen to run this straight back. Allen can throw a ton of weight, like all the young players. And if he can hit this back, get half the yellow on the inside, I think he can get every red moving here.
Lyburn, nothing yet from Deneau or Semigalski.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Clears up that left side as we look at it, the outturn side.
Because when we talk about lessons and how much curl there is with draw weight, the second lesson on arena ice, you play it up. You cannot be wide because it will run so straight. So you have to be so careful, maybe engage the brushers more, an early brushing to hold that line for you. It will not come back.
Corner guard gets that shot too, eh?
C'est juste qu'avec moins de poids, des fois elle est longue avant d'y aller. Hein?
Ah, donne-moi un peu moins d'abord.
C'est ça. Let's go.
Still dangerous here for Quebec. They have to execute two perfect guards here.
Même si on monte une demi ce bord-là, il ne peut pas nous faire mal, ben.
Ouais.
3,20, Bob. 3,20 pour mon garde?
3,25. The top teams with the wonderful front ends and the great brushing and maybe more importantly, Linda, the great judgment of brushing, work these angles, and that's what wins and loses these Briers, is getting the rocks in the right spots for later in the end.
Skip stones to come here in this second. Manitoba with the last rock and sitting one.
Robert had a long conversation at the hack end with the brushers because speed and line are so connected with these guards, and if you're not careful, if you bring it too far, you're going to lose line. It's same thing if it drops too soon. So that's why they had a long chat about where they want this.
No.
I'm going to keep curling as it travels in towards the house.
Well, just a hair high.
Run it back again, eh?
This is the shot I talked about. It's a little bit deeper, Robert, and if Robbie can hit it right there, maybe roll that red rock that he raises this way, the red-red combination will drag a little wee bit, and there's a good chance that both those reds will fly, and he can sit two yellow.
Yeah. Try and sit three. Yeah.
Now they're looking at the yellow one now.
Yeah, that might be easier, Linda.
This way, eh?
That's obviously your own rock to the equation coming in.
Want to play this one? So if we go nose, we'll sit three buried.
A little more rocks and play this.
Half is pretty close. Yep. Nose, sit three. I think just a shade more at this point in the
Quite
game.
remarkable to think that you might be able to squeeze that red onto red without touching the shot stone.
It will drag just a little wee bit, Vic. I think if you hit it on the right-hand side as we were looking there, it would go the other way and it would hit the yellow.
Exchange in our yellow in the center line in the back.
And so you heard Robert Desjardins, who is a math teacher. The geometry on this is a possible sitting three for Manitoba. Rob Fowler, his first. Dano, Simogalski. You can hear Liburn now calling line. Drive it back. Oh, now they need to sit for him. Need to sit, and he's sitting three.
Just curled a bit too much, eh?
Yeah. And it went, nice.
Boy, and right there in the foreground, you saw in the brown sweater. That is his Rob's mom, Lois, wearing the Brier sweater that her husband wore back in 1987.
And that's the angle we talked about from the very start of the end that didn't line up well for Quebec, did for Manitoba. And Lois knows those angles aren't easy, but yes, it was done very nicely by her son.
Lois, long-time Manitoba women's champion. We've seen her in a number of Scotties, and there, of course, is Brian, the 1987 Manitoba champion. 25 years. Only the second team to represent Manitoba coming out of Brandon and, as they say, West Manitoba.
So if you play those angles, you play along if you're Robert, and then you play a guard on that situation. You have to use the guard as your saving grace, because there's only one way out of this, and that's to lock it on in behind cover.
Cannot be deep here. Spot's pretty quick. They have to be careful.
Trying to put it right down on the corner and maybe take away the end. Robert Desjardins with his last.
Good job, guys. Good job. Als je goed race pour toi, je te voler.
C'est mis plus compliqué.
Là, il y a de sa première adresse. Ça va de bon.
OK, oublie-la, là, on peut pas le refaire.
Non, 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 c'est point.
Hein?
This is the beauty of youth here, Linda. I think you could obviously draw for 2 here, but he made 1 already. This would actually be for a possible 4.
It's 2, but you can't be there because it's not.
How about the in-off, the one on near the bumper?
Is
that possible or not?
Yep. This one over here, man. Yeah, absolutely. That could work too. Tougher, though. This one's a lot easier.
Okay. I tell you what, Linda, full credit to, we talked about the emotion of Desjardins. He has to gather himself up. He's just seen a great shot made, and he nearly glues it on the corner.
It was very cool, but he still is in a bit of trouble. Don't forget the angle was made perfectly the first time. This is risk and reward. Going for the bundle early in the game, not a lot of risk.
Yeah, obviously you could throw this to the boards and score your 1. The draw isn't too risky unless you're quite a bit heavy, so this is a chance to possibly give up a single. But the risk and reward is definitely there for potential 3 or 4.
So right now Manitoba's sitting 1. Run it back, stick it. Might get yourself 4. Final stone. Rob Fowler, Brandon, here in his second end opening day, the Tim Hortons Brier. Brusher's back right off now. Has he got the angle? No, he'll flash it on the way by. Just give it a little tick. And so it will go as 1 for Manitoba here in this second. Let's continue with our updates on this opening day. The Tim Hortons Brier here in Saskatoon. We'll go over and check in on Nova Scotia against the team from the Northwest Territories, Yukon. Team out of Yellowknife is skipped by Jamie Cooey against Nova Scotia, and Jamie Murphy out of CFB Halifax making his Brier debut. Final rock from the skip from way up north and trying the double. Won't, stuffs it, steal of 1. Nova Scotia's on the board. We've already seen what's going on between New Brunswick and Ontario, and Russ mentioned the front end loader, and they've dumped a bunch of stones here, so here we go. And this is Terry Odeshaw again with a massive shot here.
Is it ever? Terry made a real good one this first one and came around and tapped his own, but didn't quite get Ontario's rock far enough, so he had to try a hero shot there. He's going to play a few of those this week, I think. It just missed it.
Steal of 1 more. Ontario, Glenn Howard up now 3-0 as they go to the 3rd. Mentioned Robert Desjardins able to calm his nerves in that last end after seeing Manitoba sit for 3.
I think that's why some shots tell a big story, Vic. You look for execution, sure, but you're looking at how they can control those emotions and be mentally prepared to make a shot when a big shot was made against them. And those are the little stories as a coach you look for, and also as a fan to see how this team that you're cheering on is going to respond.
Right away, Manitoba is sitting 1 top of the button without last rock. Quebec playing the Redstones. Do have the hammer here in this 3rd end of play.
Juste top 8. Juste top 8, please. Juste top 8. Juste top 8. Ligne est molle, blue freeze now. Ligne est parfaite. Yep, Channing out. Hard.
Oh, nice shot.
Shot, Steve. Great shot.
So this was the leadership shown in the last end by Robert Desjardins from Quebec. Yes, they made the big shot, the angle run back, and yes, they're sitting 3, but you played a guard in your first. You had to know it could happen that they would make the big shot, so you have to use that guard. And a lot of good things were shown in this shot. The control to throw it, the brushing judgment. There was a hard shot left, at least for the opposition.
Yeah, that's a game changer there for sure. We could give up a 4 to a wonderful hitting team in Manitoba, and it could have been a long afternoon here for Quebec.
The key shot is brought to you by Scotty's Facial Tissue. Stylish designs for any room.
Yeah.
I was talking to Robert last night, and he was saying he felt last year's team with when he played 3rd for Francois Gagné, they didn't pay enough attention to matching the rocks, and he feels this team's much more prepared, and he obviously has a beauty with that last one he threw.
He sure does. Now, when to bail out's the other key. If you think the angles aren't setting up, this is intended to be a run back. We'll peel it off.
Stephen Monroe
Gotta bite the center line.
You can see where the broom position is, middle 12. That's 5 feet of curl and way more than yesterday.
Should be 3. Oh, 3.
It's got the ice right where he wants it.
It's gotta get the center line. It's gotta get the center line. Clean it. Switch. Gonna curl or not? Go ahead now. Yep. Hard. Hard out. Bite the center line. Hard. Hard. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Go. Okay. A little light. Yeah, we're just trying to wait.
That's the example of a guard dropping sooner than they expected, and that's why it didn't get to the line as they expected. It just couldn't finish because there wasn't enough speed left. Little corner open.
That's the toughest part, isn't it, with those guards? Is Rob, the skip, saying, wait, don't sweep it. Let's let it bend first, then brush it. But the brushers have to relay that if we don't get on it soon enough, it's not going to go far enough to get the maximum curl to finish. And that's what happened there. They just didn't believe that it was going to stop that soon.
Whoa! Bump! Close! Yep! Hard! Hard! Hard, guys! Go! Hard! Okay, whoa.
Once again, Monroe will run off the guard. On sheet B, the crowd here in Saskatoon at the Credit Union Center been kept pretty quiet so far as PEI and Saskatchewan, the champions from Battleford, skipped by rookie Scott Manners, have thrown a couple of blanks. Once again, Saskatchewan does have Last Rock playing 3.
3, 4. 3. Whoa, guys, whoa. If it's 4, we got to angle free.
Alan Liber.
It's 3. It's just a 3. I'll slide. Yeah, whoa, just wait. Yep. Whoa. It's just 2.5. Yep. Hard, guys. Hard, guys, hard. It's good.
You now hear them call out the zones using halves, and it might sound a little strange. We used to hear 1, 2, 3, the 3 guard positions in front of the rings, 3 being a tight guard. Now you hear the halves, and it's for the very reason that Russ and I were just talking about. That's a fairly big area, 5 feet to land if you use one of those numbers, and maybe it doesn't tell quite enough information to the person in the house. So now we're hitting the halves. That means a little further than a 2, not quite a 3, but at least it gives them a little more information. Another run back attempt.
And Roy will drive it by.
C'était médium. C'était pesant? Yeah. C'est pas grave, c'est un bon pitch. C'était pesant?
Same thing.
Same spot. They know this spot. It'll be getting a shade quicker. They've followed to this area recently.
Just a little less. Whoa, guys. Whoa. Almost the same. Just wait on it. Right there. Just be patient. It's going to curl. Just 2.5. Yep, go now. Hard. 3. Whoa. Yep, hard. Hard and wrench. Come on. Go.
Shot Stone without Last Rock belongs to Manitoba. Up 1-0 here as we play in the third.
A little deeper than Allen wanted. I mentioned it's getting a little quicker in that spot just from repetition. But they had to brush it for line.
Si on frappe la jaune, on roule dans la maison. Elle, avec Hack, elle va rester là pareil. Non, la jaune en avant. Accrocher la jaune, rouler dans la maison.
So the discussion is whether you want to run the yellow into the red and try and get something moved around, or hit either the yellow out in front or the red top 12 and just roll over and start to make the other team a little more nervous potentially, set some different angles up. I think they're sticking with the front one.
Second Brier appearance for Jean-Sebastien Roy. And once again, they'll run it off, drive it by everything.
We see a lot of runbacks made in curling, but I think still day one they're a little more challenging. Once they figure out the ice and the curl, it will be a little easier. Just by the one in the house, he was trying to push onto the yellow.
Anytime you're using inserted rocks that have been reconditioned, they curl more than you think with draw weight, but they tend to curl less than you think with the hits. And with that kind of speed, PO weight, you can just about put the broom right where you want to hit it.
Gotta bite the center line, okay?
Three, four even.
Whoa.
Four.
Clean it.
Mine's a four.
Clean it.
Where is he? It's right to the red. It's right to the red. It's not lined up.
They got to make a decision. This is a little bit deep.
Watch the line on the yellow-red. They're trying to give it a bump now.
Those are three.
Yep.
We ever curls one more.
Well,
It's in.
Great move there by
maybe.
Team Manitoba. If it was an overthrow by Rob and they swept it. If they hadn't swept it, their yellow would have curved more. The red would have been in this situation, and there would have been a really easy run back.
Si je tire pile, je poigne ça relativement main, je fais quelque chose de pas pire. Si je passe juste à côté, je tombe shot. La rouge va rester.
Elle, elle restera pas.
Non. Mais là, pour moi, ça va l'enlever de shot. Elle va être juste mordeuse du 4.
Ça, c'est pas bon.
Oh, on a deux shots.
Moi, ça, j'aime ça.
That slice is really tough when the rocks are that close together.
Si on veut rester dans la maison, il faut être hack, il faut en pogner ici, rouler là. Ou si on s'ouvre ça, il faut qu'il cache ça. OK. Bump, hack.
Bumper. Point du bouton. Mets-toi sur le T-line, OK?
Bumper down.
Well, they've been quiet so far. The crowd, though, here has started to stir as after two blanks, Saskatchewan has an opportunity to pick up three here in the third against PEI. Prince Edward Island, Mike Goody from Charlottetown, Scott Manners and his all-rookie team from Battleford.
Clean. This clean. Yup.
Guys, clean.
That's the kind of start he was hoping for. A lot of pressure on any Saskatchewan team looking to win their first Canadian Men's Curling Championship since Rick Folk back in 1980.
We talk about good things that we see from some players, and Robert, when that roar went up, stood in the hack, did not go down and just sit there. He waited for the roar to end, then he threw his rock. Good plan. This is a hit and roll.
OK, Bob.
Pas méchant, c'est dur de cacher les deux pour lui.
got to throw the same shot and just try and duck behind that three rock. Because he's got that for...
Because we can leave a piece of this, that's fine.
Yeah, you can
run that way.
Maybe, yeah. But if I can just get it into here. Yep. Tuck a piece, because if I leave it wide open, then he can drive it over the three, right? So nice to be a foot short of it. Well, even if I can just get...
Just past it, yeah.
Right there, right?
Yeah.
The last one was probably going to be full 8, right?
Yeah.
Where were we there?
We came in a little bit.
You're going to throw just a touch less weight, though, so it should be good, eh? Yep. Okay, just tuck an inch, bite the 8 or full 12.
I played Robbie a lot when he played second for Kerry and with Jeff, and it's wonderful to see the maturity and the knowledge of the game. Very smart strategist for such a young age. Obviously, his father had a lot to do with that too, but they're thinking this out well. They're trying to hide an inch here so the Team Quebec can't run it back.
Okay, so same weight you just do, basically.
Well, I can even probably throw a foot less, eh?
Okay.
Well, because I was full 8 there.
Okay, we swept a good part of that.
I don't want to get it too close to the yellow, because then it might make it a little easier. So full 12, an inch buried.
So just trying to wrap it around a little bit?
Just a bit, Vic, because Rob had a good point. If you leave it open, Quebec can run it off on a thin angle and remove everything and certainly score their single, maybe two.
Final stone for Manitoba.
3, guys, whoa!
Rob Fowler.
Whoa, 4. Just 4. That's all it is. Oh. all there.
Get ready. Yep, yep,
Well, that's a lot deeper than he had hoped for.
Line was the key, though, Victor. You can't raise that yellow without missing everything, really.
Oh, it's pretty good. Makes it easy.
Elle est pour deux. Mais beaucoup plus difficile. Si tu frappes ça comme ça, elle va rester.
Pas trop dur. Control?
Normal?
Ah non, pas non plus. Je veux m'assurer que la rouge ne sorte pas non plus. Là.
Ben, c'est parce que tout arrive de la gauche vers la droite. Fait que tout attire par là. Fait que,
théoriquement, elle ne bougera pas.
OK. Tu peux y aller le white que tu veux, là.
Ah, normal, comme ça.
Sorry. Two choices here, and that isn't one of them. You can just hit this outside yellow and score your single. The red might stay. It's dangerous, though. What they're actually going to try to do here is run the red back. And if you can get it in the right angle here, yellow goes this way, yellow goes this way, yellow goes that way. And they're hoping that red rock here is in the rings somewhere in that location. There's a chance for a deuce here. It's a tough angle, though, Linda. You're coming, you know, it's one of those you're coming the wrong way. And if you hit that top yellow too thin, it's just going to hang around.
Rob did bring that rock further than he wanted. He wanted just tucked a tiny bit around and not quite so close to the other yellow. But none of the runbacks as yet have worked for Quebec.
Final stone on its way. Robert Desjardins picked up Villeneuve. Monroe. Run it back. Tap, tap. And he'll move enough. He'll lose the shooter, but he will move the stones, pick up a single. Quebec here in the third to tie it 1-1. Opening day, always looking to get off to a good start, and Ontario with a good start. Early against New Brunswick, Glenn Howard stole two in the first, stole a single in the second in an end dominated by stones in play. But here a little more clean, the end for Terry Odishaw, the 45-year-old making a second appearance. His last was back in 1998 out of Curl Moncton. And makes the hit and sits right there for the single point on the board, but trailing 3-1. And Ontario, Glenn Howard from Coldwater will have the last rock for the first time in 4. And then over on sheet D, the second of the two rookie teams, Saskatchewan being one, Nova Scotia the other. That's Jamie Murphy from CFB Halifax. Look at this long angle raise to get the stone at the back of the 4. Thought he might be able to stick it for 2. Results in a single for Jamie Cooey at a Yellowknife, so they are tied at 1 going to the 4th. And so now you are up to date on this opening day and our opening draw, the 2012 Tim Hortons Brier from Credit Union Center here in Saskatoon. Quebec gets 1 in the third. We're tied at 1, and here in 4 it's Manitoba playing the Yellowstones.
Go ahead.
They will have the last rock.
Hard line. Hard. Hard guys.
Nice wide corner guard, Linda, up by Manitoba. We talked about that last week. Some of them were so close to the center line they impeded the draw shot later in the end.
After that first one was in such a beautiful spot, top 4. Corner guard went up, and then the center guard, and there was a little rob. Not terrible for Manitoba. Leaves the rock in a position that can be used.
Yeah, that's one of the best misses. I love that shot. If you're gonna miss a shot, that's a good one, a smart one. The red one's exposed now on the button, and you have a corner guard you can use.
Gonna give it a little tap.
Okay.
Back with you coming up at 7:30 Eastern Time. Our featured game will be Jim Cotter out of the Vernon and Kelowna Curling Clubs. That's his record last year, second straight BC title against the 2010 Canadian World Champion Kevin Cooey out of the Glencoe Club now in Calgary, saying that it's a more satisfying win for him out of Alberta this year, remembering that in 2010, when he won the Alberta Provincial Championship, Kevin Martin was not part of the field that year. It was the Olympic year. But this time, Kevin Martin was part of the the field in Alberta, and Cooey said, yep, this should end some of the comments from people. He beat them all to come back for a second chance at the Canadian Championship.
Nice shot by Richard through the hole. I think at first they thought if they were through it would actually stick a little sooner, but rolls right to the edge of the 12. Had room, of course, on the center line side. That's why rolled a little further.
Give it clean. Give it clean.
First time out this wide.
Steve,
good guess with the broom here by Quebec.
Go.
That curled quite a bit.
Shot, Steven. Shot.
Edge. Edge on edge. You want to go there, or do you want to go here?
I like bump.
Just try and roll it, just under the yellow.
Yeah.
Two choices. You could hit and try and get behind cover, or you could just draw in behind cover. They're playing the hit.
It's a great angle here. Now the soft weight. Watch this start to curl. There it goes.
Whoa! Hard! Whoa! 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 Yes! Yes! Hard! Hard! Whoa, 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 whoa.
Rolled a little too far, a little over curl.
Control.
Control's good.
How many times do we see that? You're planning the roll in behind something and it comes right to the hole. Now that's not a big port to come through. A little disappointing for Manitoba to end up in that spot.
Could be a little pebble here. This is a tricky shot. Once it gets across the line, if it doesn't get across the line, it might stay there. And if it gets across the line, you could grab some pebble. Get a little bit of extra finish here.
Clean. Yeah. Hard. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Couldn't throw it any better.
La faute basse.
Would not have been many practice rocks in that spot. Really good try. That's a tough shot. So it goes down in the books as a 0.
They're tough when you throw them and you do think they're fine, and the skipper thinks that he's put down the brush in the right spot, and suddenly it's gone. Great chance for Manitoba, though.
5, 6.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Need a 6.
5, 6.
Whoa. Line's good. Need a 6.
Can't be deep.
Play tight.
7.
Whoa.
Go.
It might stop. Whoa, guys. Whoa. Just wait.
Whoa, don't touch. Never, ever. Don't touch. Don't touch. Don't touch.
Good throw.
Okay, good. Good shot.
Yeah, I figured it would on that side. 91.
Love that, just a hair higher. Beautiful line, but
Oh, well, who'd freeze?
obviously a freeze here eliminates that back yellow for the moment.
Jean-Sébastien Roy throwing the third stone for the Quebec champions from Chicoutimi.
They might have to think plan B on this one.
Yep, tiens ligne, pas le choix. On bombe, c'est l'autre, là.
Oh!
Goes to the backs. It's back 4 for second shot. The World Junior Curling Championships are underway in Östersund, Sweden. And a split day, the Canadian Women's Champions, Jocelyn Peterman of Red Deer, was a loser. 10-3 to Czech Republic, while Canada and Brendan Botcher and his team from the Saville Sports Center in Edmonton were 8-4 winners over China. We'll keep you updated all week as the results come into us from Östersund.
Relax. 4. Go ahead then. Line's good. Need a 6.
Hard, guys. Hard. Hard.
Need a 6. Line's good.
Wait only.
Hard line. Hard line.
Weight's good. Weight's good. Whoa.
It's good.
We're there.
Oh, good curl. Good curl.
He's trying to follow in the one he just threw, which ended up top 4.
Yep. Bump it a bit. Bump it a bit. Bump it a bit.
Good shot. Good shot.
Great throw.
Hard to tell who is second shot, but they definitely wanted to play. It's all about timing with those. If you come to the back red, you're just leaving another chance for your opposition to make a play into the same spot. Nice positioning of the two yellows. It's just a little hard to see who is second between the front yellow and the back red.
I like what I see out of Manitoba here. That wasn't a very aggressive call, being patient. Yeah, like you said, Linda, they could have gone for the back one, but that would have set up a bit of a wall.
Does look like the red at this moment is second shot.
There's still that yellow out in the Tim Hortons lurking.
Looks familiar from the last time we came this way.
Rob Fowler's already taken a good look at that. You can be rest assured.
Angle free sur la sienne, mais il faut pas la taper parce qu'après ça lui il peut retaper puis là tomber deux shots. Là présentement il peut pas tomber deux shots. C'est bon? Ouais. Vous suggérez combien pour que tu vois ce shot là moi?
3-10 moi.
3-10, 3-15 là.
Ah ben ça tirait 3-10.
Ouais.
3-15.
These shots are made by the whole team. Putting the broom down is the first step, throwing of course, but the brushers are having to be fully engaged. That's why they have that little chat to make sure everybody knows exactly where this needs to go. Trying to take away the angle on the back one, the back red one, by angling the yellow.
Freeze it, line's perfect, freeze no bounce. Yep, la ligne! Hard for line! Yep, la ligne, go hard! Go hard!
Over Desjardins and his first.
Come on, Steve, go! OK, c'est bon là, That's good.
Okay.
Good, trop curly.
Ouais, le quart de bon 7, c'est plus 6.
Ouais, on fait l'année 7 quand on va aller. C'est arrivé en même temps.
Now the brushers took it. They were worried a little bit about line on that one. It took a while to come over.
J'ai attendu parce que... Allez, corps les 7. Ça avait été vraiment 7.
So now they're trying to get the finish. It's in the last few seconds on that break point in that you get the curl.
C'est bien fusé là, lui. On est dans le...
Des beaux mollets, tout ça, là? Il y a des beaux mollets.
The best skips try to leave themselves two shots. If Rob can get in here somewhere, just maybe in front, it's tough for Quebec to guard this one and this one. And you might see Rob try that hero shot again to remove this red.
What did I throw in that last draw there that was 8 foot?
It was 304 or 310.
That's what Stone is just short of where they wanted to be, so it leaves a little bit of room for Rob to work. This is why you practice those draws to the 4-footer button to make sure that everybody understands how to do these.
7 now.
Now wait as long as they can. If they can wait for the line, that means they have a lot more control once it comes into the 4-foot.
Not much handle here, Linda. That's going sideways.
Samagosi on the left, Deneau on the right. Trying to drag it by that Redstone center line top 8. Little kiss, little rub, little roll. And we'll sit now for, it appears, 4th shot.
That's good.
Shot stone is top button. And as we zoom in, you can see second shot is the red at the back of the 4.
It's going sideways.
Very little handle in this one. It's almost a knuckleball at this point, and those are dangerous because they just curl unnaturally with these sharp rocks. I think Rob has that made with a little more rotation.
Mieux de raquer mince que plein, oui, d'accord?
Ça. Tu l'allures, ça?
And when you talk about sharp stones, what, they just bite a little more? Is that what it is?
Yeah, exactly. These have been reconditioned, and the bottoms are very, very coarse, if you could put it that way, as opposed to smooth. And a smooth curling rock would not curl that much with that lack of rotation. Here, as Linda pointed out earlier, you have to have 3.5 rotations to keep them running what I call true. Slower rotation, they bite in.
But what an out here, possibly, Linda, for Quebec by that stone rubbing and rolling where it is.
I can play in off it, Vic.
Nova Scotia, Northwest Territories, Yukon. They're on sheet D. And the final stone is on the way from the brand new skip, 30-year-old James Murphy out of CFP Halifax. Nova Scotia with 3 Brier wins. And the last was 2004. Mark Stacey right here in Saskatoon and piling them up now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for Nova Scotia against Jamie Cooey out of Yellowknife.
if you happen to lose your shooter slightly and roll over the top.
Nose hit for 4, eh? It's real close. Well, let's just.
It's definitely for 3 anyway.
Okay, nose hit then.
I think so.
We're happy with
the 2. Yeah. I mean,
well, we just can't stuff
no,
it
no,
there, right?
no.
What do you think, edge of the rock? Right there for nose? Or there? Probably there, eh?
Okay.
You like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Rob's going to try to hit this dead on to score a potential 3, maybe
just a
4.
touch more.
But there's certainly some danger here. You cannot run it in this way. Could even hit it high side if he throws this too hard, Linda. Maybe hit it right where the broom is and go across the top and maybe get a couple. If you hit it really thin, they're also going to steal a point. This has to be pretty precise.
That's why he was trying to get a little help with the broom position, because he's a little unsure in this spot exactly how to get that nose hit.
Well, if he can make the little short run back double and sit there, it could be 4 for Manitoba here in 4. Final rock. Rob Fowler. Did it come up for him? No, he'll take his own. Oh, and he'll spin it in. He'll spin in Quebec stone. Quebec looking at a possible 4. Will pick Manitoba's pocket. It is terrific to be back in Saskatoon. Our first visits in 2004. Last time the Brier was here. Opening day, our opening draw coverage is Quebec against Manitoba, our feature. And boy, it was setting up, Russ, for Manitoba to, possibly get 3, maybe 4 if they could stick it again, make that short angle double. But instead, he kissed the top stone, Rob Fowler, and he spun in the Quebec rock, and Quebec steals 1 to lead 2-1.
Yeah, Linda and I were talking in the break, Vic, and I think Rob's theory was if you throw it really hard, it's a good thing, because if it jams on that back Quebec rock, you need a little bit of power to get it out of there. But he overthrew, lost his timing a little bit, came over the handlebars, and his shoulders were really crooked there, an overextension, what we call, with the throwing arm, and that's the easiest way to turn in a little bit. And he'd love to have that one back.
4.
Vic, it's another game that has a totally different feel than this scoreboard. We've talked about this before. You look up at that board with Quebec up 2-1. You think about Manitoba's chances in 2 for maybe up to 4 points. Chances that last in for at least a deuce if they made the easier shot, the straight run back and roll it off. And here we are with Quebec in the lead.
We watched a game like this at the Scotties with Amber Hall and Team Canada and the Quebec team, Marie-France LaRouche, and it looked like Quebec had no chance to be in that game. All of a sudden, they turned it on, played well in the last 3 or 4 ends, and won the game. And, Rob Fowler has to be careful here.
But at the same time, Russ, considering, listen, the easiest thing is to be angry and rue the missed chance. But Fowler and company are experienced enough to say, okay, man, it's only the 5th. We're only down by 1, and we just gave up a single. I mean, this isn't going to bother them, is it?
Well, a lot of the young teams, I think it would, Vic, especially the first game with the Brier as a skip. But I agree with what you're saying. The smart thing Rob Fowler did in his career is he played with Kerry Burtnick and Jeff Stoughton, and that will help him a lot in this type of situation, because he will park it. That's what the pros did. That's what those great legends did for him, and he will learn from that. And I don't think they're going to be phased at all.
Good throw.
Well, look at that. The Blue Nosers with a fist to the nose of the team from Yellowknife. 5 on the board. They're up 6-1. Ontario replies with a single 4-1 over New Brunswick as they play in 5. PEI's on the board. That's Mike Goody from Charlottetown.
Shot.
And the spilled stone will go out the side. Goody from Charlottetown showed up here with a terrible cold, and I said, cold or flu? And he said, cold. I said, wow, because immediately you think of what happened in Red Deer and how the flu took out so many players, including Kerry Galusha from Yellowknife. So, but he's on the road to recovery.
Take a look. You got room.
That's the goal.
There's a nice chance for Manitoba. They are not shot rock in the house at the moment, but very early on, and they have some guards to work with.
Just wait on it, Jared. Whoa. Go now. Yep.
By the guard by a good foot. That's perfect, because it will finish hard.
Quebec's having to make a lot of draws to save ends, and it's filtering down past the skip now into the third position because that rock is in such a nice spot. They've chosen to try and freeze to it. That's a very demanding shot, even at the end of the Brier when you know the ice very well.
Which means what, Linda, with regards to the game? Is it something then that Manitoba and Fowler are doing that is forcing them into these shots?
Yeah, they are making some very nice shots. This end, it was Richard Deneau makes the great shot, gets the yellow into position, and then, of course, Quebec makes a good one to try and get it out of there. But once you spread out those rings, it's the team with the hammer that's going to have the advantage.
Yeah. Make it. Top four. I like it.
Very aggressive here, coming around again. That red one that was just thrown by Quebec is a dangerous stone. It is partly buried, though, so it's tough to run it straight back.
Hard.
Four. Yep.
Hard. Hard, guys. Hard.
Hard, guys.
Hard. Hard, guys.
Fully. Line's
hard.
good.
Oh, wait. Come on. Hard.
Line's good.
Hard, guys. Line's good. Hard.
Manitoba third, Allen Library. Samagalchi. Deneau. Oh, not quite. It rubs and rolls to top 8.
Still pretty nice all the same. You get that behind the tee line, it wouldn't help you at all. And there's very little chance to, I don't think there's any chance to inside roll on this top one. Not at all.
Ça, ben tu tapes celle-là là. T'aimes-tu ça, le double? Le double sur le nez? Presque an automatic jam. Et voilà.
An opportunity here as we check in on Saskatchewan and PEI for Saskatchewan to get 3 if he sits right here. This is that rookie team, as we're telling you about, from Battleford, skipped by 39-year-old Scott Manners. Along with Tyler Lang, and Ryan Dice, Mike Armstrong.
Clean.
Weight's all there.
Playing the draw.
Got.
And sitting at the back 8. He says he just wants to drink it all in. Scott Manners, the Green Man Group.
Well, Robert called the third down to have a look at this because from the hack, that yellow double, top 12, top 8 looked inviting, and Robert was concerned about the angle.
On tape. Au pire, on fera tap freeze. Parce que rester là, nous aides-tu vraiment? Non. Ben, à part être douche. Ouais. À part rebattre la aile en avant, là.
With a soft weight in turn, they can tap up that red one. It's not easy, but it's possible.
Roll out, c'est bon.
Might be saving that one.
Son roll out, c'est correct.
Control.
So back to Robert's shot. They're going to hit second shot.
Control.
Yeah, control. Clean. Yep.
Can't afford to tick that top yellow.
Jean-Sébastien Roy.
Clean. Oh. Clean, just okay, clean it. Good shot, Bass. Correct.
Hey, Bass.
So Manitoba is sitting 1. 4 foot.
One shot le fun à jouer.
And they do have the last drop here in the 5th.
Je pense que le board nous demande de faire ça.
Strange call there, Linda. You know, it's you were never going to stay. You can only see half a rock. There was a very good shot just to make that, but it allows Manitoba to be aggressive, put the gas pedal down again, and put this in an even better spot.
Whoa, then, whoa. like 8.
He's got quite a bit.
Whoa.
6. Still got quite a bit. 6.
Just 6. Whoa. Whoa.
6.
Yep.
6. Yep.
Weight on leg.
Whoa, it's by. Whoa,
Weight
whoa,
on
whoa,
leg.
whoa, just bite the form. Whoa, 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 whoa.
6.
Beauty.
Good shot.
Shot, Al.
Great shot.
Shot out.
To hit 2. We've seen a fair number of these little wicks, little rubs, little rolls. Are they both sides still trying to figure this ice out, Russ?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's tough to get the broom in the right spot in the hits, I find, because you throw a lot of draws in practice. You have an hour of practice on Friday, and it's mostly matching rocks. It's draw after draw after draw, so they realize how much it's curling and how much rotation you need to keep it consistent. But it's this type of shot here. We've seen a few of these missed on the high side so far, and you might say, if you're watching at home, there's a straight spot or it's the release, but it just runs incredibly straight with these type of inserts or a blue hone inserts. It's one of the hardest granites you can buy, and you up the weight, it will not move.
Now, 2 ways to make this. You can make the straight back double. I think they're actually trying to play it high side and tick out the other yellow.
It'll jump over there, will it? Or are they just going to make the double angle double?
The angle double. I think that's what they were lining up.
There's no chance of it jumping over and catching this, all 3 of them, no?
Don't think so, Vic.
Whoa! Close! No. Yeah! Hard! Whoa!
A few last strokes. And now it'll spin in behind.
Not bad.
Good try. I like the play of getting, I think that's what they were trying. Getting that one with a buried one, Lyndon, then they can deal with the open one. Unfortunately, he stuck it there, but there's certainly an easy double at this point.
Well, after Nova Scotia put 5 on the board in the 4th, the team from Yellowknife is sitting 1 right on the pin. And final rock on the way from Jamie Cooey in a 6th Brier appearance. His best showing was his first, and it was back in 2006 in Regina when he went 6 and 5. And he'll snuggle up for, it looks like, a deuce.
Well, that's just it. If we guard, what does he do? He can't freeze. Like tight guard? It's a guard, yeah. I think tight guard. You're right, he can't freeze. It's a guard, eh?
2-3 feet short of the house is good, I think.
Yeah, that's what I like.
So the fact that Quebec played that angle freed up the one in the house. Even if they'd only left one, it would have left it wide open. So Rob had to consider how to play this, and he's going to guard.
Yeah, speed's still good, Robbie.
Doesn't want to leave the double for his opponent.
You hate to throw a center guard when you have hammer, but that is the right play here. You come into the ring somewhere, there's a very simple double and maybe roll underneath. So that's the perfect call here, a tight guard.
Just 2. The line's a little tight. The line's tight. Just 2.
Nice balanced delivery from Rob. Good shoulder position other than on that peel where he overextended a little bit.
Clean it. Clean it.
Just 2.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Never.
Whoa,
Never.
Whoa.
Okay.
Just a little light, eh?
With it being that long, you can see a piece of the one in the house anyways, and it makes it more accessible.
Peeking in now on Ontario and New Brunswick, and still, right from first stone until this point, lots of rocks in play. And New Brunswick, and the last rock on the way from Curl Moncton's Terry Odeshaw. New Brunswick has yet to win a Canadian Men's Curling Championship. And this appears to be a draw against 3. Needs a piece of the button.
Whoa, guys.
Yep.
Hard, guys.
It's a draw against certainly 1, maybe 2 at the back edge. And lovely, he'll put it right on the pin. Terry Odeshaw before the break will pick up a single. 4-2 Ontario.
Bumper down.
You always wonder if a skip has that ability. when needed to reach into that pocket. You're like to play the up weight. We've seen him try the, as you say sometimes, the hero shot, the headline shot, but then he reaches in and is able to put it right in the pot.
Yeah, that was very impressive with Terry. I've played Terry a million times, and we always wanted to leave him that shot because he was pretty good with those run backs, and that was a fabulous adjustment there because this is much faster ice than he's ever played on, maybe ever, and he threw it to the sweepers, gave it to them, and they didn't make any mistakes. Well done.
So this is the quiet hit trying to come around the guard that was just played by Rob Fowler.
Picked up right away. Villeneuve, Monroe. Big scrub now. You can hit a walk. Called off. Got to wrap it around that guard. Get it by.
Hard pass.
And now angle it back and by. And wondering if maybe there was early panic there, Linda. Do you
I think there was, and the quiet wait sometimes makes you think it's going to move, but that early brushing will really hold it, and almost looked like it went dead straight at the point they thought it was going to break.
Sometimes the broom holder makes the judgment it's narrow, but they don't pick up on the weight, and they pounded that early with the brushing, and that does straighten these type of stones out quite a bit.
Because, I mean, he didn't come close to the guard, did he?
But on the other hand, in fairness, he missed the right way. At least he got one out of there. You don't want to play a cute wreck on that guard and give up a 3.
So final stone for Manitoba. Rob Fowler with a chance to draw for a couple and go to the break with the lead.
7, 8, 9. Easy then, easy. 8, 9. Whoa, then, Derek. Whoa. No backing.
You don't like to hear that 9 number. That is back house. Now, granted, he only needs 8 foot, and it'll be fine.
2.
Manitoba and the champions from the Brandon Curling Club have a 3-2 lead over Quebec and the team from Chicoutimi.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by World Financial Group. Proud to be a sponsor of the Season of Champions. Your dreams, our strategies.
Manitoba leads 3-2, but it could have been a lot more had Rob Fowler made this. This was the possibility of sticking it for a possible 4. Is coming in the second end against Quebec and Robert Desjardins. They'll spill them.
That was his first one, Vic, to try and set it up. They couldn't quite make the last.
And then he didn't get, he got the single.
Rob, I want to ask you about that second end. You made a great run back with your first one. How close were you for that with that second shot to maybe pick up 4 there?
Yeah, the second one, we had to make sure that if anything, we were on the thin side because there was risk. We could have taken our own if we hit it a little thick. So we went for it. I threw it just a little bit too aggressive, and it ran pretty straight. So unfortunately, we didn't get it.
Anytime you're out of Manitoba, a lot of pressure because big things expected from your province. Do you thrive off that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, this is the ultimate, right? We're at the Brier having some fun. I think it's nice to get the first 5 under our belts. I think probably the boys were a little nervous, but we're ready to go. We got the lead at the half, and we're feeling good.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let's take a look at the numbers after 5.
Well, the numbers for the Skips are low. You saw Rob Fowler at 61%, but they both had some difficult shots. Best on the ice right now is Richard Dano, second for Manitoba. Back playing second. He's already played it once at a Brier for Kerry Burtnick, and he's the reason that first deuce goes on the board, and that's big for Manitoba at this stage.
The numbers after 5 are brought to you by Tim Hortons. It's time for Tim's.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association. By Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
We are in Saskatchewan's largest city, Saskatoon, with a population of about 260,000. Beautiful South Saskatchewan River that winds its way through. On this opening day of the 2012 Tim Hortons Brier from the Credit Union Center. The 4 sheets in play, and our featured game is on sheet A to the extreme left as you look at it from our broadcast position. Rob Fowler and his Manitoba champions out of the Brandon Curling Club pick up 2 in 5. As I say, yes, go ahead. You can curl now, Rob. And it'll be Quebec that has the last rock here in this 6th end of play, playing the Red Stones.
Is there anything you're not in charge of there?
I just
controlling the ice, controlling the booth.
Well, he was looking back at me, and I thought, go ahead, Rob.
Give him the signal.
You go.
He didn't have my heated seat on this morning, though, in the vehicle.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's in. Okay, make sure you're full 4 then.
Top 4. Top 4.
It's still there. 617. You got. Okay, that's all right.
Good shot.
That's what we were talking about doing.
Robbie Fowler's 61%, but I'm impressed. I love the game he's calling. Very aggressive, not afraid here in game 1 as his rookie skipping appearance here at the Brier, and a couple of the shots he's missed were real tough ones.
Very difficult, and he said sometimes actually as a skip you talk yourself into missing. That's the only part of what he said. Was talking about how difficult it was, wanted to make sure he didn't hit it on the wrong angle, one of those tough doubles in this case, and you have to be a little careful that you, as I say, don't set yourself up for the miss, but definitely has tried the riskier shots for the bigger reward, and that's all right in the first part of the game. Got their deuce.
Whoa.
And looking quite good at the moment.
Clean it.
This game is all about momentum and feeling and flow as far as a skip goes, when to go for it, when to pull back. And Quebec has decided this end to pull back a little bit. And we do see that sometimes. They've struggled perhaps a little bit. They don't want to put a guard up while that opposition rock is in such a beautiful spot near the button. So this is the wait and see, and now the corner guard goes up.
Well, if you were to ask, I mean,
Let's go. Let's go.
Rob said to Brian, look, I'm happy with the way it's playing out for us so far. We have the lead. We played 5. But as you look at it, are you, if you're the 2 skips, are you happy with, in fact, what's been going on for your 2 teams? Are you happy with Quebec?
Well, I think so, because I believe they've been out-curled. Vic, they've had dodged a couple of bullets. Robbie makes that shot for 3 or 4, and it's a totally different game. But so they're only 1 down with a hammer. They feel they still have control. And in the case of Manitoba, they're really playing well. And they've had a couple chances to possibly put this game away and haven't taken advantage yet.
Mistake there, and Steve Villeneuve has been in a Brier before 2 years ago, so he should know that old pattern we talk about post 5th end break, how it can be a little faster.
It's normal, Steven.
You may have heard the crowd respond to the final stone of Saskatchewan and Scott Manners, and the yellow stone back of the 4-foot that does belong to Saskatchewan. So this is Mike Goody with his final rock out of the Charlottetown Curling Club, down 6-1 as they play in 6.
Where it comes. Go, go, go. Whoa,
Couple of Tylers.
Shots, Mine's getting better. Shots, Steven.
Tyler McKenzie at 3rd, Tyler Harris at 2nd, Sean Claring at the lead position. This is a cold draw here.
Yep. Shot, Mike.
Very nice to pick up the single.
On our sheet, we saw Quebec hit and roll, trying to group the stones and get out of the situation. When the corner guard came in, they lost their opportunity to try and keep them separate, but there's a nice shot back to roll away.
Team Manitoba throws what I call a control. You hear Jeff Stoughton talk about an easy weight, and I like it a lot. They're not trying to make it themselves. They're giving it up to the brushers and throwing a little softer weight, and making those hit and stays a lot easier.
First Brier for Stephen Monroe.
No. Whoa. Oh.
Whoa. Trying to roll towards that other stone and will not.
There's an exact example. We just saw the exact same path from Manitoba, but they do that softer weight, the sweeping weight, got that little extra curl, and I think that fooled Quebec. They threw a lot more weight on that spot.
Easy up.
Whoa, whoa.
Alan works for Krevco Lifestyles.
Clean it.
The family
Clean.
moving to the Brandon area back in the early 90s after their junior championship and to take up some farming. They've maintained their residence, and so now you've got the two Librans. You've got Alan playing the third position. William is the fifth player, a skip in his own right.
Whoa, pas de suite. Whoa.
Jean-Sebastian is a two-time Quebec junior winner.
Okay.
He is the one player on the ice that is really struggling. We talked about Rob Fowler's numbers being low, but these numbers are actually lower for him, and I think he's playing with the rock a little bit, and you see that in your first game. You come out, and instead of just throwing, you're aiming it a little bit. I think that'll even out.
Relax. Whoa. Yep.
Nice technique with the brushers for Manitoba here. They keep their legs bent right over their heads, right over the brush head, give them a little bit extra downward force.
It's interesting, too, because they both use the closed position. That's where the front arm, the hand is low on that side. It's a little harder to judge. You see them looking up. They have to sort of look over the shoulder, but that gives them a better chance to also achieve the better pressure with the downward pressure onto the brush head. Steve Villeneuve on the other team has the open stance, and it looks quite different. You can get pressure. It's just considered better to close it. And then you see Steve on the left. In his case, the left hand is down. That's the back arm.
Really hard.
So he opens himself actually to the stone that they're aiming at, and he can also get a better view of the skip, can he not?
It is. It's better for judging, and so newer curlers often take that position, but if you really want the pressure, they teach now to close it down.
5-6.
This is a very nice end for Manitoba. You get your deuce on the board, you put pressure on Quebec in doing it. And now Quebec has nothing set up this end. Their chance for the corner slides in, and Manitoba's been able to establish the two rocks that can then force the single to Quebec.
General manager of a car dealership in Brandon.
Felt light to me. Right here.
I'm always interested watching the releases. We talk about how important they are, and a lot of the players at this level, the experienced players, have that fingertip release. They come off the handle, almost like almost a double clutch, I guess you'd say. Release it and then just a fingertip grip. Now that makes it harder to put the extra rotation. Sometimes you see a little bit of in-outing and out-inning, and not a lot of turn on them when you have that kind of release. But it's something we see, it's almost like improvisation. You've come up with your own technique over the years.
And as we see in the golf world, they don't all have to be the same. All those golf pros on the PGA Tour are making money. It's just having repetition.
Je veux le freeze sur ça, Bass.
T'aimes mieux ça?
Oh. Je pense milieu du blanc, c'est proche. Je pense plus large que ça encore.
Oui, c'est en jaune, ouais. Je pense que c'est le temps.
À l'aise avec
On va
ça.
le tirer pareil, je pense.
So he's going to try to make something happen here, is he?
Yeah, good idea, Vic. It's very little chance if you keep changing. It's hard to hit and roll such a steep angle, roll on top of that. So they're going to try to force a mistake out of Rob Fowler. If he puts it in there, Robbie blasts everything, comes down and hits everything and jams them out of there. Then they have a chance to hit that other rock and blank the end and go to a seventh with hammer. Calculated risk. If this isn't in the right spot, he'll probably be drawn against 3 with his next one.
There's Robert, no backward movement, just pushes out from the hack.
That's good.
Straight on the line to target.
He was telling us, you know, we always say that the only way to get experience is to go out and bonspiel and play against the best you can. Well, this Quebec team, like so many, and Where does the money come to do that? Well, you either invest it or you try to win it. And so they played some local bonds fields in and around Quebec. They made some money. And so they reinvested that, and they went further afield into Ontario, and they won a little more, and they reinvested it and ended up going out west. And Russ, you know, you were saying the Spiels he played out west, they went home very quickly. They lost 3 in a row, but it's paid off in this Quebec provincial because he thinks that they are a much better team for having done that.
They are, and they're a lot more confident, and you have to pay your dues. It's like everything else. I remember Mike Harris coming out of our province. He had trouble getting past our team with Glenn and Wayne Madaw, and he said, look, I'm going to go out and play in all the big events. I think he spent $56,000 or something the first year. But eventually, next thing you know, he's a silver medalist at the Olympics. You know, you have to do it. You have to get play in the big spiels and the great ice against the great teams.
That was very thin.
That was the first one we saw that went real straight.
Nova Scotia, Northwest Territories, Yukon as they play in the 6th. And it is the team from way up north, Yellowknife, that is sitting one. Final rock on the way from Nova Scotia's Jamie Murphy in his first Brier appearance. He's the native of Fredericton, New Brunswick, now living and curling out of Nova Scotia, and that will do for 3. So a couple of big ends for Nova Scotia. They got 5 in the 4th. They had 3 more and are now up 9-1 going to 7.
So draw against 2. It's interesting he's changed his turn. He just played a nice rock into the house, coming the other way.
T-line, no backing. All yours. T-line, no backing.
You put backing.
T-line, no back.
No backing pour le moment.
Clean it, bounce.
A little bit of the red,
La ligne est bonne, la ligne est bonne.
Kind of the 4-foot.
Ben oui, t'es bon, je suis à 14.
T-line.
Vous êtes T-line, clean it.
T-line.
Shut up.
Oh, in fact, from overhead, you can see all he needed was full 8. Nice draw by Robert Desjardins. He picks up his single, and we are even at 3. Well, those shoulders will give it away, won't it? It's a statue to honor Gordie Howe from Floral, Saskatchewan. NHL on TSN tomorrow. They're 1st and 2nd in the East. The Rangers and Bruins live coverage, 12:30 Eastern Time on TSN2. Another hockey great. This gentleman is wearing the Montreal Canadiens and the number 4, the captain, the great Jean Beliveau. He is currently in hospital, having suffered a stroke this past week, and from what I've read, he is recovering nicely. So 2 greats of hockey. As we watch some greats of curling here in Saskatoon on this opening day, the Tim Hortons Brier. Quebec getting the single in 6 to tie it at 3, and so here in 7 it is Manitoba once again playing the Yellowstones, and they have the last ball.
Yep, line.
2 perfectly placed rocks here.
Sorry, sign.
Steve throwing one at the 3 position right on the center line, and Garrett coming around, I think, in maybe the perfect spot, Linda. It's not really in the 4-foot, but it's deep enough that it's dead buried. Now when you see Quebec freeze, there's lots of opportunity to sit 2 if Rob wanted to go to the open side.
Yes, a week ago we were at the Scotties in Red Deer, and now here in Saskatoon, Linda.
Yeah, this is the time of the game, Vic. You were asking about earlier on if Manitoba felt maybe a little antsy about the score, having pretty good control in the first part of the game. This is an end where you have to be a little careful if you're Rob Fowler, because the score is still tied, even though you feel like you've been putting the rocks in a pretty good place. This is where you have to be careful not to take on too much risk if you have that last rock. It's setting up very nicely at the moment. I'm not saying it's going to be a problem, but sometimes the temptation at this stage of the game is to go for the big score because you think you should be ahead. So this is where you have to be a little careful.
Okay, back, I like it.
To your point, Quebec's going to take that on right now with these angles favoring Manitoba. They're going to try to loop one right around everything here and try to steal a point.
Ça a l'air, oui.
Set.
Escurlé.
Set.
Dégâts de place. Oh! Oh!
Set. Real. Complètement off. Quand ça vienne sideways.
It's out there.
Elle va venir
A little wide of the spot they wanted. That's why he called them off.
Desjardins now with Roy and Villeneuve. And he'll draw the edge of the button T line. Over to Ontario and New Brunswick. And New Brunswick is giving Ontario more of a battle, I think, that many expected. Glenn Howard out of Coldwater, Ontario. Terry Odishaw from Curl Moncton, and he's facing a couple with his last.
Yeah, the only real difference, Vic, is that steal at 2, and Terry had a chance to score a single, came deep and gave Glenn a tap and allowed that steal at 2 in the first time. But it's been a well-played game other than that. And Glenn's forced to a single here.
To take a 5-2 lead going to 7.
That's the roll.
Richard Deneau.
Close. Close at the bumper. Yes. Hard. Hard. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And you play on that one that really curled in. Oh, that was just by. I mentioned Richard. He's curling 94%. And I think he's the big reason that it feels like this game should be more on the Manitoba side. He's throwing beautifully, engaging the brushers when needed. And they were needed on this one.
Just a little
just
more.
By.
Richard, another disciple of Kerry Burtnick, and doesn't come much better than that to create some great experience in a big hurry.
Once again, Stephen Monroe looking for the little flip in behind. He can't.
Yes. Yep, there's a little run back.
Push hard! Really hard, Steve, come on! Oh,
get across the nose. Oh, they feather the guard too. Oh, goodness. They couldn't hold it for him, and so it hits too thinly and spins to the back of the 12-foot.
Okay.
My goodness, how did he get by, first of all, and then were they surprised with the curl?
Yeah, I'm not sure the weight call. I didn't actually see the signal, but because this is so light, this is just a little backline waiter, it keeps curling once it's by that front rock. And that's why it rolls so far.
Bounce the yellow Manitoba rock into they're both first and second shot here in a dangerous situation for Quebec.
5, 6. Room. Close. It's way out there. Whoa, whoa. 5. Way out there. 5. L in. Yep. L in.
We heard that a
hard.
minute
Fight
ago, and watch the curl. Break point about the three-quarter pole, as I call it. That second set of Tim Hortons logos.
Take a look. Take a look. Line's good. Bite the four. Bite the. Yep.
Really goes hard at the end. That one's actually also losing its turn a little bit.
See, he said switch, but we didn't switch. But I never had it come from you. I didn't think we needed it. As long as we got the corner tucked, and we did. So.
You have to think that this week is going to be like the Scotties, where the brushers brush a lot. It's fast ice. You cannot overthrow it, and they have to be on almost every stone.
Even a warmer building with the bigger crowd, too, and that is tough on the front enders.
OK, ligne est bonne.
OK, curl. Whoa,
Ah ben non, patience, vous pouvez, on est très là. Lève, Steven.
C'est ça bien.
Non, pas de suite.
Manque
Faut
un
rien-
peu.
Faut rien faire.
C'est garde.
Maintenant, yes! Come on, hard! Really hard, you boys, come on! Hard! Hard!
OK.
Pas si mauvaise, là. Elle curle moins, elle. Ouais, mais là... Ben, toi, t'as des pierres un petit peu plus droites, mais sauf que tu l'as...
Here's the thing, Russ, because they waited for the longest time, and when it started to die, they really couldn't save it.
That's what's been happening, and I think we need a little more communication out of the front ends to know exactly where it is, because it is going to finish, but it's out there so far. The skip in this case is yelling, whoa, wait for it to curl, but it didn't quite have enough speed to curl. I think there's an opportunity here to actually play the double here, see what they say.
I'm not sure we can avoid that jam, though. Well, that's why I want you to see the angle. It's there to avoid it, but just so you see, the other shot would be to play nice and just try and paper it off this and get this one back over to there, but you might put it in behind the tee. No, I like just hack. I think hack's not going to move that much. We don't have to move. We don't really want to move it that much, right? So just tuck it into there is good. So hack weight, we don't have to get ultra tight. And with hack, if it is running, you can't just to paper thin that one. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Listening to Alan, I think what the world's. Still has the Scottish Rogue after so many years.
I haven't heard Brier weight yet.
No, I haven't yet. No, I don't know if he's maybe he's lost that.
Are we trying to hit it pretty thin?
Well, we've got to get by the yellow. Okay. But it's really just to kind of hit and flop in. Okay. Hopefully we missed the back one.
The biggest part of the conversation was actually the weight to play.
Hack weight, you said? Just half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hack weight was the final decision.
Okay.
And while Alan Libern throws, we're going to check in on Nova Scotia, Northwest Territories, Yukon. Nova Scotia sitting 2, final rock on the way for Jamie Cooey of Yellowknife.
Need a 7-8.
We'll catch on the back.
Walk her to it.
So at the moment, Manitoba is sitting 2. There's the draw for the single point for Cooey and the team from Northwest Territories, Yukon.
Alrighty.
Well, this leaves a little opportunity for Quebec.
Close! Yeah! Ah! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Very nice.
Oh, look at that. He got them all moving. And out they go. There was a little double touch. Very nice by Jean-Sébastien Roy.
That's what happens when the Manitoba stone doesn't tuck. It leaves a piece, and that means you can get everything moving, and they did it just right.
Tried to throw it so soft, Allen shot to get the inside roll, but they needed some speed to get in behind underneath there, and left that triple, and no mistake. What a great shot.
And they agree that the 2 stones on the right side, as we look at the rings, are out of play.
Just off nose, eh? Off nose.
Just off nose. Oh! Yeah! Hard! Hard! Yes!
Libern. Run it back.
Good shot.
And it still leaves Quebec sitting the 1. You see it just back T-line, 8 foot. And then the shooter stays out as a centerline guard. All right, over to Saskatchewan against PEI. Saskatchewan, Scott Manners from Battleford. Mike Goody from Charlottetown.
Really hard. Really got to go hard. 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 Hard.
Facing a couple, and he'll make them both disappear. Saskatchewan will pick up one more to lead 7-2. You know, Linda, you were saying about how Manitoba and timeout is being called. Both teams are given 2 90-second timeouts. How Manitoba would be saying, you know, goodness, we're playing much better. But one missed shot allows the other team that opportunity, and as much as they think they're playing well, you're still not making the key shot.
No, that is true, and that's why they're probably feeling a little antsy too, because they've had the end set up time after time. Let's face it, they've had at least 3 opportunities to set it up, and in all cases they haven't worked out perfectly by the one mistake.
S'il veut venir prendre plus que 1, il va faire qu'il vienne avec. Il va faire un commande. On prend le risque, puis on lui laisse faire le raise double.
On peut donner un double.
J'aille pas ça. J'aille vraiment pas ça. S'il fait le raise, puis il pointe pas celle qui est cachée, là.
Jean-François Charest is their 5th player. And he was an alternate last year for François Gagné in London, Ontario. The team is actually coached by Camille LaRouche. And Monsieur LaRouche, we saw, of course, Marie-France is his daughter, and he coached his daughter's team at the Scotties in Red Deer last week, and had a good week. They lost the bronze medal game, of course.
The discussion would have centered on, do we hit something, and the something would be the yellow at the top of the house, and try and roll in to sit 2, knowing that you're trying to limit, or just draw to sit 2, and they came up with the draw.
I like that call a lot. You still don't have control here. It's a good opportunity sitting shot rock to be aggressive, bury one here, and hope for a mistake.
C'est bon? Make it good. 15, c'est encore bon, plus 10.
This is such an easy shot nowadays with this much curl. You just throw it a couple feet light, take lots of ice. It'll walk across there if you brush it properly.
We talked about how emotional Robert can be. The one thing I think that's a bit of a detriment in that area so far is him yelling and calling off the brushers and not getting that information, because it does curl so much even though it looks wide.
La ligne est parfaite. Mordeuse du 4. Mordeuse du 4. La ligne est impeccable. La ligne est impeccable. Mordeuse du 4. Bite le 4 seulement. Keep going, guys. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Go, 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 go.
Pas de swing.
Not bad. Good spot.
C'est bon, là.
Good spot, les boys.
To sit 2. Quebec here in the 7th. All right, Ontario, New Brunswick. Ontario got a single in 6 to lead 5-2. An opportunity here for New Brunswick. Terry Odershaw,
Or do you want to run it back and try and slice it in?
former Canadian mixed champion of 2007, to get a couple right back.
You could also run it back on the nose, and then they can go wide. You might set it as a double.
And if it curls up and we run it back and
For the 2, Ontario has the lead going to 8.
I think run back, maybe get it to the nose and get the red coming this way, or right on the nose and get the red going towards that one. What do you think? It's important to score here, right?
Yeah.
Dead nose is really close to making the raise double. If I'm a hair high and we stuff it right there, it's pretty good, right? You like that?
Yep.
Perhaps going to try to run this yellow back,
bit,
recognizing that even if he misses, he opens it up and has a little better chance to make his last one to score. He does not want to give up a steal here this late in the game.
One or the other. It's either stuff it there or dead nose, and we might get both back reds. Okay.
The call straight back down that center line. There's a chance, a small one, but there's a chance to make the red double. As long as he hits it on the broom side, he'll hit one of the reds. And former second stone, he's played a ton of these.
Get. Whoa, 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 whoa. Get.
Rob Fowler.
Hard. Roll on.
Yep, yep, yep.
And drives it through. She rolls over. Shot stone is still Quebec.
The nice part, Vic, though, is the center guard's gone now. He's not only eliminated a rock, but he's opened it up. It's a little tougher to hide for Quebec.
Second and third shots belong to Manitoba, so you have to be very careful where you put this.
Non, 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 on n'a pas fini. On n'a pas tout à bonne place, ouais, milieu du blanc, je pense.
Pratique que tu sois ici, là.
Faut être parfaitement égal avec l'autre. Ben, égal ou un petit peu
Nowhere,
plus bas.
Russ, where you're going to leave a double.
Si essaie le double par celle-là.
Well, you could. If it just doesn't bury, leave it high enough, there would definitely be a double.
Si on est back four, c'est pas mauvais.
Well, that's all you're right, Vic. You have to avoid that. That's the plan. Keep them even in the house.
Even though there's such big curl, it's tough to bury around a rock that's already in the ring.
Peut-être qu'elle peut ralentir un petit peu plus.
C'est bon. Vous avez quand même une petite gaz de peine,
Ça veut dire que tu me demandes combien à ce moment-là?
Ah, 3,05. 3,05 pour...
Bon, mais mon raise, c'était pas un des plus positifs, je pense.
OK. On lance 3,10, c'est bon.
Tirez 3,10, mais raise un peu mieux positif. Un petit peu moins basse.
He certainly had his draw weight in this game.
T-line, vite. Ça prend T-line. Ligne serre un peu, ligne est bonne. T-line, back T d'une pierre. Back T d'une pierre. Besoin d'aide?
Une pierre en arrière du T.
Juste en arrière du T d'une pierre.
Une pierre en arrière du T. Drette sa brosse à basse. Gotta go, guys. Gotta go.
Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
Good sweep, guys. Good job.
So they'll take it back 4, just back T-line, and even them up.
Oh, what a turnaround in this end. A triple is made, you keep the rock spread out, and you force the single, and now the game has a whole different complexion.
When you look at the face, Look at just the expression of Robert Desjardins. He's feeling his team is staying very close in one way, or maybe he wasn't expected to, and that can mean a lot.
This isn't an automatic shot either. If Rob doesn't use the backing, he has to cover the button. It's not a simple spot. You just saw this actual path, which will help.
Final stone.
Have a look. Line. Hold on. 8. What? 8. Whoa.
Drawing against a couple.
Whoa. T-line. T-line, guys.
Needs the button.
T-line.
Samagalski is on the left. Deneau on the right. And it's all in there. Brushes now. Oh. It's all in their brushes now. Draw is there. Oh, and he may have just dragged it too far. It is a steal of 1. So maybe a miscommunication.
Good,
too much brushing. Another stolen point. Have you voted yet for the 2013 the Dominion All-Star Curling Skins game? You can. It's a brand new qualifying format. You will choose the curlers who compete. Fans vote for their favorite Canadian curlers by position at tsn.ca. The top 4 skips will then pick the remaining 12 players through a random draw. We'll have that for you on TSN January the 17th of 2013. So go to tsn.ca/skinsgame for more details, and the players will be competing for $100,000 in total prize money. This week, these 9 days, we're playing for the Canadian Men's Curling Championship. The Tim Hortons Brier. And it's a 4-3 lead for Quebec, as it seemed maybe a little miscommunication by the front end, brushing the rock a little too much. And then, of course, the Quebec third, Jean-Sébastien Roy, was in great position. Steal of 1. They're up 4-3. Manitoba has the last rock as we go to 8.
That was a big steal. The earlier one, that was because Manitoba was taking some chances. That happens. But the big turnaround with Allen not getting his rock under cover, then the triple, and then the draws beautifully positioned for Quebec. And now it has a very strange feel, this game. 2 nice stones by Quebec, and there's the corner placed by Manitoba looking for their deuce.
Quebec deciding to come in. You could have left this short. Allows Manitoba to hit something here and rearrange the Reds.
Yep. Hard, 10.
Hard, guys. You gotta go. Really gotta go.
Hard, guys. Whoa. 10 plus.
Great shot, Derek.
Attaboy.
Great shot. Saskatchewan continues to lead Prince Edward Island, but that red stone just off center line, back 8. That belongs to PEI and Mike Goody from the Charlottetown Curling Club. And so Goody now with a chance to draw for a couple.
Easy, boys. Easy.
Gotta go! Go, Stevie! Steve!
That's the man.
He'll pick up the deuce, 7-4.
So you can see the shot sequence that Quebec is employing here. You could have put the guard out. They decided to try and force Manitoba to get their deuce in the rings. Now, Manitoba's not going to go there yet. They're putting the corner guard up again. But what Quebec would like to do is keep peeling. Quebec is seating the 2 in the house. And eventually Rob will have to come in and make a play. And Quebec is hoping they'll have a chance for a double.
Good shot.
Whatever plan you have to just make sure it's solidly in your mind what you're trying to accomplish. And Quebec is doing that at the moment.
Whoa! Clean! Clean! Good pitch, Steven.
At some point in time, Rob Fowler, if the Peels are continued to be successful, will have to come into the rings.
Not much more.
Yeah, it's a little more there.
Not much more.
Take a look.
It's about the same.
It's fine.
It's less.
You could see Quebec ignore it and hit that yellow rock and sit to 3.
Yep, a little bit. Good throw.
You never know. You're trying to get inside the other skip's head all the time.
You are. And also thinking about timing. When is it that the other team will make their push into the rings? And how long do you want to keep removing that guard before you move into the house?
We have our first final on this opening day. Tim Hortons Brier and Nova Scotia. And skip Jamie Murphy from CFP Halifax will pick it up. Make the final 9-5 over Jamie Cooey and the team from Yellowknife.
They've got this down pat, peeling out that corner guard.
Now it's late enough in the end. We're into the Vice's rocks. They're going to make a move here, Manitoba. Try to get to that back red one, freeze one in right on top of it, right on the lid.
Gotta go. Really gotta go.
Line's good.
Gotta go for Wayne.
Yep. Hard, guys.
Yelled right off the bat here. They're really rushing hard to get this by the yellow.
Hard. Hard, guys. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Alan Libern with Deneau and Samagalski on the brush.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Do a nice job, too, just to sneak it by. Man, Ben's in there. Well, let's take a look at some of the numbers now and for the thirds in particular.
Well, it's quite a lopsided battle when you think of Alan Libern at 89%, way ahead of the third Jean-Sébastien Roy. But interestingly enough, that, in my opinion, hasn't had the major impact on this game. I've noticed at second, you have Manitoba playing very well. It seems to continue about even through the thirds as far as rock positioning goes. And at the moment, it's Rob Fowler's misses that have caused the problems.
Get out.
And maybe he'll get another one here. Very nice to leave him sitting 2. The numbers are brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Now, this is where people who say, throw the numbers out. Because when you think, I'm saying, when you think of that 61% for Waugh, remember the triple he made? He makes another lovely shot there. It isn't reflected in that bottom line.
No, it's reflecting the first half of the game, though, and I guess I should have been more specific. In this latter half of the game, since the fifth end break, it has been even between the 2/3, in my opinion. All those misses early didn't show up on the scoreboard, and now you've got a third coming on just when you really need them, and it's not showing. That division is not showing up in this part of the game.
Wait's good.
No line. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No line. Whoa.
You're in.
Whoa, 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 no line.
At the end.
Yep. Hard. Hard, guys. Go, 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 go. Hard, 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 hard. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
There's another one. They were just getting caught a little bit. The line on that was absolutely perfect. It's easy for us to say that, but the brushers are not saying anything. It's more up to Rob saying no line, no line, and that forces the brushers to stop brushing.
No line there.
Yeah. Curl's good, though. You always can curl.
Control.
Je pense qu'il sort avec, c'est correct, non?
Hein?
S'il sort avec,
c'est que ça shot, j'ai juste pas sur la glace. Là, il est en train de dire que s'il sort avec,
Manitoba is first and fourth shot. So Quebec have to be a little careful with this.
Ben, contrôle, faut que tu pognes ici, Bob, faut pogner en arrière. Là.
If they happen to hit it dead on and take out their back red, there might be a red double to sit too.
J'essaie de savoir exactement, mais je ne sais pas exactement.
Vas-y avec une glace que tu connais. Ça, c'est correct, control?
Ça devrait.
Donne le double après.
Puis on roule out.
OK. Tu contrôles.
Contrôle. Je suis pas sûr de la ligne à ce place-là.
C'est de garder le shooter là.
Il y en a qui n'ont pas curlé. C'est pas ton poids. Control. Vous en pensez, vous autres, contrôle avec ce balai-là?
Ben, il n'y a pas de balai, là.
Ben, il va bien rendre ça là, le remettre.
When you look at this, if you can push the stone back and roll away, I think. I guess my point is, Russ, you don't want to leave anything that they can play to. correct?
In behind, yeah, for sure. I think they'd love to sit 3. If they roll away, Rob hits and rolls on top of that one. They still have a chance to score their 2-ender here, but the main thing is not hit that back red one. This is close.
And so Villeneuve, Monroe now trying to hold the line, avoid the jam. They'll kill the one at the back. And now they're sitting 2. Top 8, top 4.
What they would have preferred is just picking that rock out and rolling out rather than leaving their rocks so grouped.
Dead flat, eh? Probably this way because it's got less to travel to get to
2/3 with an intern.
And you're also separating your own.
Yeah.
That's the danger, Victor, with that back one we talked about. Yes, there's no back one to worry about now, but if Rob can come over, he might even be able to make the double. But if he can come down here, even if he hits and rolls over here, if the Quebec team comes down and can't roll away, they will set up a red double. Is this here, Linda? Double?
Well, they can push it. Don't forget, they don't have to push it all the way out. They just have to get it to the 12-foot.
The one he's aiming at's a fraction higher. Make a decision here, because the last thing Rob wants to do is hit and roll out here. Get it too thin.
It has to be very fat and roll over, and if you touch it, fine.
I think it's available with the speed that Robbie Fowler can throw. Looks like it's dead flat, but remember, when you make contact, your rock is 11 inches higher than that. You just have to get the backside of that other red one.
Rob Fowler first for the Manitoba skip here in 8. Does have the last rock. Got one, and he'll move it far enough and spin to the back edge. And for the moment, Manitoba is sitting 2 with last rock.
Big shot there. That had to be thrown hard, and he got it a hair tight, but it had enough speed and enough brushing to save it.
Yeah, thanks the brushers, I think, on this one.
That's not easy. When you're using 2 grippers and you're hopping around, you're flying down there. That's a lot of speed to keep your balance and still put some pressure on the ice.
Stuck around in the rings too.
Oh yeah.
That's all.
2 choices here. You either play the thin double, which is really thin. You only have to hit it a couple of inches to come across, or maybe hit and roll on top of the yellow and hope for a mistake out of Manitoba. I think they're trying the double.
Yep.
He's got a little nervous with the amount of ice you're taking. Have to make some contact with the first one.
Final stone, and right away he calls off Villeneuve and Monroe. And bangs it on the beak and rolls it inside to sit shot stone for the moment.
It's another one from the hack. You're looking at that tight ice, and I see so many people flip that little out to make sure they make contact. Those are tough.
Massive weight choice there, too. I'm not so sure it's easy after it's over, but you could make that with a lot less weight than what he tried there, and I think just forced it outside at the end. It all started when they tapped their own out of the back with his Robert's first one there and gave Rob the chance with a tough double.
Final stone, looking for a couple to retake the lead.
Whoa, whoa. Little firm.
Uh-oh. Missed opportunities, and there goes one there for Fowler and Manitoba with a chance to go in front. Gets one. We're tied at 4. Weather is perfect to do a little skating on the shores of the South Saskatchewan. Time now for the M&M Meat Shop's Final End Challenge. Right after the game, go to finalend.ca, enter the secret word for a chance to win a trip for 2 to see the 2013 World Junior Curling Championship in Sochi, Russia. The first 100 entries will have a chance to win a $50 M&M gift card. And all participants will get an M&M discount. We'll give you that secret word shortly. Opening day, the 2012 Tim Hortons Brier from the Credit Union Center here in Saskatoon. You look at the difference in the game. Really, it's the steals by Quebec in 4 and one more in 7. Missed opportunities. Right there, we saw the hit for 2. The rollout, Manitoba has to settle for the single. So here we are, going to 9 and tied 4-4 in Quebec. And Robert Desjardins from Chicoutimi will have the last rock. They have the hammer playing the Redstones.
Easy, easy.
Well, nothing bigger than that last miss. That is huge. That was as easy a shot as you're going to have in curling. Let's face it, that was an open hit. He'd seen the path. He played not that much weight. It was a nice, quiet shot. Just had to be wide. So now you really have to start thinking if you're Manitoba, and they are. They put the guard out in front, come around by Quebec, angle freeze, and actually the front end for Manitoba have made a number of very nice angle freezes.
Let's go d'abord. 5. Yep, gotta go now, yep. I get Tommy. Really hard. Help. Get that, get that. Go, go, go.
Trying to bring it out the other side now. They have to be careful. Look at that curl.
It's almost 100% open on the other side. Wow. Yeah, that's accessible, really.
It's pretty good. You got room. You got room.
Easy.
You got room.
A little kick on the sliding broom for Rich, but he managed to release it just fine.
5, 6. Wait's good. Whoa, whoa. 5, 6.
Just 4.
No.
Just 4.
Yep. You have to click off. Yes.
We're not clicking.
Okay, well then we'll. Jeez, just ran a little straighter. Good throw. Good call there.
Hein? Juste frapper ce qu'on voit. Ah, c'est bon?
Au pire, on accroche.
Frapper ce qu'on voit. Looks
like a really easy double. I don't think he can get to the nose with that long guard out there. It'd be very difficult.
Saskatchewan and PEI, and again, one of those games where Saskatchewan's in control, but Prince Edward Island and Mike Goody just won't go away. And he is sitting 2, and that's what is facing Saskatchewan. Scott Manners with his last as we watch Quebec second, Stephen Monroe.
Clean. Easy. Yep.
Mike Goody of PEI made a nice shot with his last one to get the separation on the 2 Redstones.
Well, it's got to come up for him. Manners. And it does, and will hang around. 4-shot stone. Pickup of 1. Saskatchewan leads at 8-4.
Quebec made the play on the Yellowstones to try and get them moved around.
You like that? Did you get in the double?
Manitoba chipping away at the Reds now, trying to hit the Redstone top 12 and roll over.
Yes. Whoa, whoa, yes! Yep. Whoa, whoa. Good shot. Good boy.
Je pense qu'il faut faire la même affaire.
Ouais, j'avoue que je vais prendre le 2, là, puis c'est blinké, effectivement.
Same weight. On va prendre moins de glace un peu.
I'm going to try to get that top yellow at the left-hand side of the 8-foot, but trying to roll almost frozen to the middle yellow.
Same weight.
Otherwise, there's going to be a red double here.
Whoa, sorry, whoa. S'assurer de poignard dedans.
A little extra weight.
Whoa. Clean. Yep. Up, up. Up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Take this one. Nice shot. Nice shot.
Moi, c'est là.
Super beau, Steven. Good shot.
Can Manitoba throw this light enough to make the double? You have to get by that guard pretty tight.
C'est parce que vous me tenez pas au courant des affaires.
I think peel weight won't do it. You have to be more like a
You make it
control.
with bumper, you got to go nice. You need to hit 3/4.
We saw that quiet weight hit by Quebec curl a little past that guard.
It did a lot, yes.
3/4 at the most. Should curl a little at the end. What do you like? Do you like that or do you like this?
I like bump, don't you?
You like bump? Bumper? Okay. That's not terrible. No.
Taking the lighter of the two weight choices, a smart move. You don't have to hammer this rock. You just have to hit it in the exact right spot.
Want a little more?
Having a look at Ontario against New Brunswick. Boy, I don't know if you can make the double and clear both yellows to get yourself a bunch here if you're Ontario.
Just bump. Yep.
Terry's last rock didn't finish. If it would rolled in behind, Glenn would have to be forced to a single.
Final stone on the way from the Ontario champions, Glenn Howard, in a 14th Brier appearance, 7th straight. That's a record. One, and spill it far enough. Oh boy, doesn't look like it. He stuffed it. And it'll be a steal of one. New Brunswick, they're tied at 5, coming home.
Wow.
The last stone by Manitoba did not make contact with the one on the button. The Yellows are circling around it, circling the 8-foot, but a chance for Quebec to put another one in.
Patient, si vous pouvez! Patient, lève-toi si tu peux! Ça court!
C'est free!
S'en vient! Non, non, rien pour l'instant, rien pour l'instant, rien! Rien! Non, 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 rien! Yes, now go!
Oh, dear fellows. It was as if when Rowan Villeneuve said, that looks like a nice shot, we're turned to go away. And
well, that's just that emotion we've talked about earlier, where Robert, the skip for Quebec, is so up and down and on and off. I think it would be better to say get ready if you want to make sure you get some of that tapped. You might have brushed it a bit at the end, but it's the way he calls them off. It's like, don't touch it. And so they back off.
Whoa! Whoa!
Alan Lyburn.
Whoa! 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 Good shot.
Almost.
Not quite. Leaves Quebec still sitting shot stone back 4. Remembering now that Quebec does have the last rock here in this 9th.
Good shot.
The good news for Manitoba is they bounced that one right out in the open. So if this is buried, at least they can get at that back red one.
Patient pour la ligne! Patient! Patient! Patient, patient. Grabé complètement. Ligne est bonne. Ligne s'en vient. Non, 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 non.
Jean-Sébastien
Roy.
Roy.
D'accord, Steven. Off. On va vous dire quand est-ce. On va vous dire quand. Off, off, off. Non, 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 non. Non, 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 non. Shot, Bass.
Draws the top of the button to sit 2.
Hein? C'est affaire, faut pas.
Pick with a hair, eh? Or do you want to try and go right at it and try and bump it out and sit right here?
Top of the foot.
It's a little tougher shot, eh? Have a look there and see if I freeze on half of it on the second shot.
There's a little stream. I don't think so.
So we probably got to push it then, eh? Yeah. Try and get it just back here.
I think just have to push it through, eh?
Get it back to here.
Yeah.
Tough to throw weight at this. I know it's a pretty long guard and there's tremendous curl there, but it's getting later in the game and there's less curl than there is at the start of the game. And Rob would like to tap this back ideally out of the 8-foot, but even if he taps it a foot or two, he'll roll into a good spot.
The back line, the sweeper should be able to hold it for a while, so.
I don't know, are you feeling the cool there?
Yes, it's drafty.
Yeah, they've, I guess the building getting overly warm, they've opened something to the air outside, but they're trying to drop the temperature in here quickly.
And if it does anything to the ice, and it usually does nothing, but if it does anything, it'll straighten it out even more.
Make sure I don't overthrow it. If we can get down and hit 3/4 with back line, it's really good.
Okay.
Nine! Whoa! 9! Whoa!
Whoa!
10!
The 9 is the back line weight that they did want to tap this rock out of the 8-foot.
9! Yep! Yeah! 9! Hard! 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 Hard, guys! Hard! Hard! Roll the yellow! Whoa!
And he tries to roll it over, gets maybe a little spin towards the Stone of the back four. Shot rock at the moment, though, is Manitoba.
Pretty good. Are we shot, do you think?
I haven't looked at it.
Looks like it. Manitoba sitting one.
Ils sont freezés ici, là.
Fait le slash, c'est là.
Probably have to make a play on that, Linda, and just tap it out, maybe roll a little bit, just like that.
Lui va faire ça. Ouais.
And it allows Manitoba to maybe hit roll buried.
Ouais, on ouvre le chemin. Non, je pense qu'il va essayer ça.
Okay, backline.
We have no choice if it's shot rock.
No, that's why they were looking at just playing an angle freeze, but then you have to think about how you're eventually going to get in there. So the tap it is.
Okay.
With all those yellows around, the position of the shooter is critical. You want it to roll just full 8 foot.
À quoi il est trouvé à droite?
OK. À la pièce, Sylvain. OK.
Yep. Hi. Down.
Robert Desjardins.
Hi, you got it. Hi. Harder. Hi. Medium.
Checking in also on Saskatchewan PEI. And rolls it away and will sit in time for 2 as Saskatchewan in this debut for Scott Manners from Battleford, one of the 2 rookie teams. He will run Prince Edward Island out of stones, and Saskatchewan will pick up a win in Manners' debut. Make the final 8-4.
How much fun is that? Your first Brier game ever and a big win and a huge noise.
In front of a big crowd, that's for sure.
And mentioned, it's just so much pressure on Saskatchewan teams, and he's, he beat a former Saskatchewan champion in Bruce Corte to get here. And one of the very nice things was that Bruce Corte called him a couple of days later just to give him some insight into what he would expect at the Brier.
Easy.
Talked about Quebec having to save the shooter. This is an important one for Rob, who has been struggling with these hits.
Other way. Yep. Hard.
Too late.
That was supposed to curl and roll in behind cover.
Wait was good.
Heard them last minute maybe try to roll it the other way, but I don't think there was any hope by then.
Just a little full again?
Maybe a little.
Oh, there's too much ice maybe, eh?
Yeah. Those bumpers of mine were running pretty straight.
Yeah. Shoot.
It's interesting just to listen to Rob Fowler and Alan Liburn at that particular moment, Russ, when you're looking for 2 guys to be in sync, they just don't seem to be at the moment.
Yeah, they did. It was a funny answer there. Rob thought he had the right weight, couldn't understand why it didn't curl, and we might have the answer that they haven't thought of is it's getting colder in here. That will straighten the ice a little bit, but he wanted to know if he was a little bit wide, and Alan wasn't sure, kind of thing.
Wonderful opportunity. Final stone. And Quebec. And Robert Desjardins to pick up a couple.
That's got a curl also.
That was a little jab on release.
Front end is back right away. And he uses his own as a little catcher. And he will catch a couple here in 9. So Quebec, will this be an early upset? Just maybe, to many people's thinking.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Roll Up the Rim to Win. It's time for Tim's. 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by World Financial Group. Proud to be a sponsor of the Season of Champions. Your dreams, our strategies. By Scotties, proud supporter of women's curling for over 30 years. And by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
In his Brier debut, Scott Manners. A lot of attention on this gentleman from Lloydminster. Curling out of Battleford, picks up a win over Prince Edward Island. Time now for the final end. Secret word, and it is Broom. So right after the game, go to finalend.ca and enter the secret word for a chance to win a trip for two to see the 2013 World Junior Curling Championship in Sochi, Russia, brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. All right, steal of 1 in 4. Steal of 1 in 7. Missed opportunity in 8 for Manitoba. 2 more for Quebec. And so here we go to the final end, 6-4, and we have another final. And it is Ontario picking up the single in 10 for a 6-5 win over New Brunswick. So 1 game remains on the ice here in this opening draw in Saskatoon at Credit Union Center, and it's our featured game, Quebec-Manitoba. We go to the 10. Manitoba will have the last draw, playing the Yellowstones, but they trail by 2.
Good shot.
Super belle.
Quebec had a little talk with the first one coming into top 12. They weren't really sure how they wanted to approach this. You saw the corner guard that went up by Manitoba, looking to get at least 2. They'll actually play another corner to try and set up a 3 spot if they can do it. Quebec not sure. We've seen them try guarding stones. We've seen them bring 2 in and allow taps and rolls, but they decided to bring the second one in, and now we'll see how they approach this position.
Yeah, the question is, a 2-point lead, do you really want 2 of your own rocks in the rings? Yes, if they're in a good spot, but they can help Rob Fowler here later in the end.
Tu veux faire les deux?
Oui. Comme tu veux. Out. Lequel t'aimes le mieux? Out win. Out turn? Out. C'est une demi-roche. Une demi.
Discussion of whether or not to try and go after both guards. We haven't seen this team to know their efficiency with up weight.
Yeah, Steve.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Huge rotation, that one, Linda. He almost forced it out, as Vic used the word pop release, and spun a huge amount of rotations in that, and obviously forced it to an inside-out position. Game on.
Over there first.
Well, once one gets buried behind a corner guard, which is the attempt right now, it will be up to Quebec to decide how to approach this for sure. It's a 2-point lead, which looks very large until you start to see some rocks hidden in the house.
How heavy, Darren?
7, it's coming down. 7, 8, 7, 8.
No, it's still 8,
like
9.
Yeah, it's a little more. Big. It'll stick around, but it's basketball. Just wide open.
Good shot. Go by.
Just a reminder, our coverage on this opening day continues this evening at 7:30 Eastern Time. It'll be Jim Connor against Kevin Cooey. Connor making a 2nd straight appearance as BC champion, of course. Cooey now curling out of the Glencoe Club in Calgary. He returns after a 1-year absence. The 2010 Brier and world champion.
Manitoba rock hung on at the back, but it did its job. It was buried enough that Quebec couldn't fool around with that corner guard. Now the textbook 3-enders a possibility. Go around the other corner guard here.
Need a 6. Yep.
5.
Hard line.
Yep, for line. Hard for line.
Hard.
Okay, room.
Line's good. Line's good.
6. Room. 7 maybe now.
Full 8.
We're there.
Full 8.
Whoa, whoa,
Clean it.
whoa.
Clean it. Clean it.
Whoa. There.
Good shot.
Shot, Rich.
Back.
Écoute, c'est presque ouvert, ça.
This is decision time. I thought they might actually see if they wanted a timeout to think this through.
Peut-être qu'on la tire en face des rouges.
Ouais, je la vois un peu.
Comment tu la vois?
Je vois quoi? Je vois à un quart.
Faut que jamais, là, c'est ultra mince. Là.
OK, on va y aller avec control.
C'est quoi que t'aimes le mieux?
Si on accroche en avant, c'est pas mauvais.
OK.
Haven't played much out this far.
Ben.
There should be a little bit of pebble out here. Might give them a little more curl. This is a tough shot, Linda.
Et donc, t'as mis 3 shots.
OK.
C'est quoi le meilleur poids pour enlever la jaune?
Normal.
Normal?
I think they're just playing the peel, maybe. No?
No, it looks like they're going after the one in the house.
Just trying to kill it, I guess, not trying to hang around.
Oh!
A lot of weight.
Jean-Sébastien Roy.
Good shot.
And enough
Good
to catch
shot.
it and push it out the back. So let's take a moment for the game story. It's brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
It feels like a couple of games. First half was Manitoba, the lead at the fifth end break, and it felt like control, and then things started to turn around. Seventh end steal with a draw going too far. Eighth end, a deuce opportunity, and it doesn't work out. And there is a difference at skip, and the difference really has shown up in those big opportunities that Manitoba had.
And crucial end, you're down by 2. Manitoba's called a timeout.
The only thing with where he was, if they peel and then we make the freeze, there is a double on ours, right?
But we wouldn't have to. If they peel, you can hit the top and roll.
Probably the first question is, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to get 2 or 3? If we're trying to get 2, if we get one in here now, we probably got a pretty good chance at a deuce. If we want to get 3, if we go in behind there, if they make every shot, we probably aren't going to get 2.
Yeah.
Right? And if you make this real good, we still got a chance at the 3, I think.
I like the freeze.
What do you think, Dad?
Personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you make a good freeze, a 3's still in play too.
Yeah. What's that?
Make a good freeze, a 3's still in play.
Oh
too.
yeah, we get a good freeze in here. Yeah. If he peels, we could freeze again, or we could go behind the corner on the next one, right? We got a 3-on-1 situation in the house.
I think the freeze is a great shot.
Sure. He's probably going to try and run the 5 back at that one, but,
but
anyway, that still gives us a good chance at 3.
Yeah, that's true. No, I think we got to go now.
I think so. Yeah. You've played this shot a bunch of times. Just walk it in there.
Wait, the same guys, or was it a little?
Okay.
It's a little tackier.
How much? And I know you expect to come up with a shot when you need it, but how much is this predicated on the fact that Rob Fowler is struggling? Does that come into your thought process, or do you just assume you're going to make the shot if it's called upon by Rob Fowler?
That's a good point, Vic, because he's playing this end like he's not struggling. He's still diligently trying for a possible 3-ender, which might mean he has to make a very difficult shot at the end. But the problem with going around the corner guard is if it's not made properly, I don't think you might not even ever get your 2. So what he's trying to do here is get one in there frozen, hope for a run back by Quebec. That's the other thing. You have to guess what the other skip might or might not do.
I think they talked even about playing the top one, but he wouldn't roll to a very good spot if you're ever going to move just that one. So they're trying to come right in.
Ron Liburn.
Don't touch. Heavy. It's heavy.
Trying to play the freeze.
Still heavy.
Whoa, just hold the carbs. Click it in here. Click it. Good shot.
Yeah.
Very good.
Shot stone remains Quebec, though, just by that much around the back of the button.
Heavy, eh?
Yeah.
Still not comfortable, are they?
No, that one didn't work, and that was because he didn't throw it to the brushers. It will curl, and it will curl big time, even with the feeling in the building that it's a bit colder. There it starts. It just had a little bit too much weight.
Just a foot heavy. It isn't very much, but it makes a big difference at the far end.
Get away! Normal!
Could try to sit 3 here. I think they're going to throw some extra weight and not. Maybe roll away.
Yep.
Villeneuve. Monroe on the brush. And they will roll it away.
He was trying to touch that back one.
Good idea.
Faut arrêter un bonus.
Ouais, là.
Doesn't miss it by much.
Great camera anyway. Just any thinner, he gets that back one.
Well, is there any chance you think that comes into play if you're Manitoba?
Oh, for sure, Vic. Right now they could play the double and sit 2. But he's still going after that freeze. I don't know. He might be waiting too long here, Linda. But Allen just threw this. If he can lock it on there.
I think they're reading the opposition a little bit and trying to get the mistake out of Robert Desjardins. But actually, in the last 2 ends, he's made some big shots.
Well, he's bringing the brushers into play now, isn't he? Samodalski and Deneau. Fowler is out too, trying to drag this one down and lock it on the face if they can. Put it on the corner.
It's good. It's good.
And will it bust in there for them to be shot? Stone may have just.
Oh, that's dragged it too far again.
We had to bag it the whole way, eh?
Pretty close.
Good shot.
Là. Puis il va venir là. Si on frappe ça, ça vient sur l'autre, mais il n'est pas facile de venir sur l'autre à cause du garde là-bas.
C'est presque infaisable.
Bien sûr.
Presque
infaisable. Il vient de la taper.
Moi, je ferais pas avec un bon. Après ça, on filera celle-là, elle va être ouverte, oui?
Oui, je pense que oui. Regarde. Je pense que oui. Je pense que c'est ça, je pense qu'on peut rouler out. Ça part.
Pile de celui qui reste ou que ça.
Tu sais que le freeze est bon, mais.
Fais-nous en temps mort. Venez, Jeff.
Ouais. Time out.
So Quebec will use their second 90-second timeout.
La rouge à droite, elle est dure à venir chercher. Faut qu'il vienne avec.
And this time it will bring
C'est tough.
Coach Camille LaRouche to the ice.
Tough.
It depends on what they think Rob Fowler can do. If you just came down and peeled off this back yellow one, Rob comes down, he could tap that and roll over, but he might set up a yellow double. So the only other shot Rob Fowler has to sit 2 and not set up a double would be to sneak by that corner guard, hit and roll over in that area, and maybe not have a double opportunity. So you might see Quebec play an aggressive shot here or even hit that back one.
C'est une shot qu'on connaît, là, tu sais, c'est... Ouais, c'est ça. Milieu de la pierre, puis loin. Un petit peu plus que milieu, juste en close. Je pense qu'il faut y laisser jouer sa shot. S'il vient sur le in...
You having to make a double here for 3, eh?
Sauf que, mettons, moi, je dis inter, mettons, pour... Juste, genre, le freeze, puis à la fin, sa ligne est bonne, on le tape, on tombe un 2. Lui, il fait quoi après? On est comme 2, 3, 4.
Il y a un trip pour toi, peut-être.
Il y a un trip?
Peut-être.
On son shooter roule dehors.
Nos îles, mettons.
Moi, si on jouerait, ça serait free.
Moi, je pense que c'est pas plus difficile pour toi de jouer le run back, le petit contournement.
Mais on peut pas jouer un run back sur celle-là.
Non, mais pour ta deuxième, mettons. Je veux dire, tu rappelles, puis la deuxième, tu as une autre difficulté.
On va laisser faire sa shot à lui.
Aimes ça le freeze basse, toi?
Non.
Non, OK.
Moi, j'aime frapper en arrière. Okay. Parce qu'au pire, s'il fait une shot merveilleuse sa prochaine, ben, on a un run back de 2 pieds pour aller au moins supplémentaire. Puis si on fait le double, c'est fini. Tu comprends? Fait que, tu sais, il y a une grosse shot sur l'autre à cause du garde-là, c'est difficile de passer.
OK, I like it. Feel it.
Faut noser à jaune. Faut noser à jaune d'abord.
Non, on peut rouler out.
Roll out.
Non, faut noser, faut battre l'autre jaune en avant, non?
Hein? Quel autre jaune?
No, roll out parce qu'après ça, on va être dans les jambes si on a ça.
No, I think the way he charged down the ice and didn't put down the broom, this is the hit.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about. It makes some sense here. You just get rid of the easy one. It's a very easy shot, and then Rob Fowler has to score 2 with only 2 rocks to go, 1 in the rings. And for Rob to make a move in that red one, I think the only way you can't set up a double would be to come around that corner guard if you can and tap that out. And there's a great angle of that corner guard. If you think about how soft you'd have to throw a tap on that buried red one, that corner guard's kind of in the way.
Yep.
You heard Manitoba talking that they overswept that just a hair.
Skip Stones, Robert Desjardins, the first for Quebec. And they'll get rid of the stone at the back.
What if you ever just drop this
3 minutes. 2:44 en fait.
J'aime ça aussi.
By doing that, is he now, Desjardins speaking of, by doing that, is he looking at giving up the 2 for the potential tie and trying to force the extra at that point?
Well, yes, because if he played the run back and something went wrong, he ran back onto his own or missed everything, Rob would have a chance to hit this red one on the butts at 3, and then if you don't make a double with your last one, Quebec gives up the 3. So he's eliminated the 3 for all intents and purposes. Something should be open here.
If you ever tap this to here, let's say, and you stay right here.
What do you think?
What does he do? If he guards this, you're still going to have the out turn to get to it.
Well, but then if you tap this back to here, that makes
So second timeout being used now by Manitoba.
Depends
It's
how
all
far you
important
tap
10th,
that.
trailing
You don't
by
tap
2.
that enough, he's going to have a double.
Yeah, you
I
have to make
realize
sure
that.
you get it out of the way.
And then it's going to be in the way for this shot, right?
And then it is in the way for that shot. If I leave these pretty much level, anything past level.
Brian, like if we ever could tap this to here and we stay right here, what does he do? If he guards this, then you might still have the out turn.
Well, we could get this and roll it to here, and there's a hole.
And then it's for 2. What's that? Yeah. Like to make it, I probably have to push it about that far. And if we play that shot and we happen to rub this and roll into here, it's not terrible. Right, we still got a good chance of getting 2.
Yeah. And if this went back here, if he doesn't get it
if he
quite
plays
right,
it could jam.
Yeah, I know, I realize that. I was just thinking of another.
Rubbing the red one. If you rub the red one, playing Richard's shot, if you rub that red one on Richard's shot, what do you leave? If you rub it with the out turn, when you're talking about moving the red one back, you rub the top one, what do you leave?
Go behind the corner, you're probably better, right?
Well, that's what I'm
I
saying.
think I like this here.
What do you leave?
I like that. So like back line to hack. Back line.
It seems to me that they're still talking about the possibility of getting 3 for the win. Doesn't there come a point when you say to yourself, that's out, we're playing for the 2, we're playing for the extra?
Absolutely, Vic, no question about it. And but in this particular situation, if Rob taps this property, taps it maybe a foot, he will sit 2, maybe half buried. And if there is a mistake, Quebec comes down, ticks the guard, you could still get your 3. But I agree with you. I like making a move like Rob is to sit the deuce. And if they exchange rocks, he at least gets his 2. It's getting awfully late to be worrying about 3.
Back line.
I think one of the things they did discuss, Vic, is if this doesn't work, which you're always thinking plan B, although you hate to plant that thought, which way do we want to miss? And that did bring the 3 into play, even though the last shot would be tough.
So Rob Fowler and the first for the Manitoba skip, Butter Brandon.
Hard! Whoa, 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 whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Nice looking shot here.
Yeah, whoa, whoa!
Called right off to sit 2 to tie.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
This is what I meant, Vic, by it was kind of an either or. You can sit the 2. If this raise is missed, there is a chance for the 3, but fairly simple shot down that center line.
And a very large surface area to get something.
I mean, if he crotches this perfectly, do they both go?
Oh, for sure. No question about it. Even if they don't, Vic, even if you hit one solid and kind of roll onto the edge of it, it'll be very difficult to score 2 points.
This is where you do have to control those emotions, though. You put the broom down for a certain weight. You can't overthrow this.
Taking very tight ice, which is smart. There's less curl here than ever right now. You forget that you're making a raise double and just say, I'm trying to hit that front rock dead on. You've made a billion of those.
Possibility here is for Quebec to win it if they run this back and make them disappear. Final stone here in 10 for Quebec and Robert Desjardins. Buildup. Monroe backing off. Knows it back, and he'll get 1.
Okay. Good try.
That was a little panic. That was enough weight. It wasn't going to move. Got a little excited.
Good.
And the Russians get called off, but it was not going to move much more. So just got the 1 and had to watch the back one, actually, and make sure they didn't jam.
No bumper, guys.
Well, in a game that's nothing has come easy for Rob Fowler. Again, he has this opportunity to hit for 2, and earlier we saw him the opportunity for hit and roll out. Final stone to force an extra.
Up.
Easy.
Whoa,
Guys.
whoa.
Easy. Whoa.
And Samogalski and Deneau have backed right off this. Nothing from Liburn as well. Call in line. And it'll sit for 2. We're going to go one more.
Takes its time.
Quebec will have the last rock in the extra.
Hey guys, we got our deuce. It's good. Jeez, I watched that replay.
Glenn has cut down the circles. It's just the button you've got left.
I don't know how you can get better entertainment than this anywhere in the world.
Final stone. He needs the button. Kevin Cooey.
It's really good.
Now it's Carter Wright, right. Nolan Decent. They need the button. Needs the button for the Canadian Championship. Who's got the button? Have they got the button? Alberta's got the button and the Tim Hortons It was a dramatic ending 2 years ago, and now Cooey is back again as Alberta champion, and for a second straight year, Jim Cotter will represent BC out of Vernon and Kelowna. That will be our featured game tonight. Draw 2 at 7:30 Eastern Time from here in Saskatoon and the Tim Hortons Brier. Our featured game on this opening draw is going to an extra. We're tied at 6. And Quebec will have the last rock. They have the hammer playing the red stones. And this is the Quebec lead, Steve Villeneuve.
Well, it's sort of a strange situation for Quebec. In this game, it's felt like they've been clawing back the whole way. And now when you look at it, they have the edge. They have that last rock. So how do you keep it so that you have that chance with the last rock to get the score? And that's the difficult part for Quebec.
Good.
Interesting center line guard. They didn't even seem to be anyway. Russ didn't even look at the tick. We're trying to move it around.
Yeah, most teams have a plan going into this situation, and you see a lot of them. And I would say more men's teams play the tick than the women's teams, but there's still quite a high percentage to play the come around, and that's a lot of pressure on the front end too, because you have to be in front of the tee line both times, and that makes it tougher for Manitoba to get in there eventually.
Maybe mine's good.
Good start by both teams. They want some separation here. More importantly, try to line them up. So they want to brush this onto that center line.
Hard. Good. Good boy, beauty. Great shooting.
Rush, guys.
Nicely done. Good separation. And Robert's thinking about how to approach it.
Another little evolution that's happened just recently, I find, is when you're throwing 2 guards, in the case of Manitoba, we always used to throw the 3. The deepest one is with the one almost in the rings first. But you can then tick that into the rings if you're Quebec and then hit that open rock because it's no longer in the free guard zone. So you see a lot of teams now throwing that long guard first and then playing that come around with their second one.
And actually on this ice, on some ice surfaces, sometimes you were worried you would tick your own guard over as you're trying to squeeze by it if the ice is straight. But with this ice, there is no concern. You can get by it by quite a bit and still wrap around and be one in front of the other.
Yes, faut que je sois égal avec l'autre. Come on. OK, c'est pas pire. T'en es avec l'autre, c'est bon. Elle est bonne là, Steve.
The name of the game for Manitoba is get as close as you can to that red one without being past it. You cannot be deep. Anything behind the tee lines like you didn't even throw the rock.
6, 7. All right, clean. Get ready.
He has the best numbers on the ice in this game.
Whoa. 9. It looks heavy, eh?
9, it is heavy.
Line only. Get ready. Line only.
8, 9, 7.
Yep.
7.
Hard.
7.
Whoa.
7.
Oh, left them as long as they could.
Beauty.
We're just hoping that curl there.
Well judged there. They had to get it by the guard, but they didn't want to be deep. They did the best they could to shave that guard.
Celle-là? Ouais.
You can see how the theory of the long guard and the short guard line up. There's very little chance of making a double peel here.
And Stephen Monroe will get the long guard. Richard Dano throwing the second
tight.
stones for
Stay
Manitoba.
clean. Hard. Hard.
Now this is the challenge when you're throwing the
Hard, guys,
one just near
hard.
the hog line.
Come on, hard, hard,
After
hard,
playing
hard,
a lot
hard,
of
hard,
come-arounds playing in
Get
the
it over,
rings.
hard.
This is trouble.
Wow. After such a great game, how disappointing.
Pull the string on him.
Just trying to be too fine with it.
Yeah, Vic, as I say, he's played so many shots where it had to be precise in the rings, and suddenly you're asked for such a long guard by your skip. And he just pulled the string.
Whoa! Yes!
Ah, piqué!
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
No ball, no ball. Just clean. Steve, Steve.
Able to salvage anything? Yes.
Okay, thanks.
The hard part for Manitoba here is to sit shot rock. If they play it out and keep guarding with Rob Fowler's last shot, if he taps it, it's tough to become shot rock. Might see him make a move earlier than his last rock.
Halfway is good.
Nice start for Alan Lyburn in his Canadian Championship debut.
It's over.
Make it curl. Go ahead, yep, yep. Finish it.
It's picking.
Finish it.
Hard, guys, hard.
Come on. It's good.
Okay.
Goodbye.
The handle is going. The handle is changing.
Just peeling that front one.
Whoa! Clean. Sorry, yep. Yep. Clean. Yep.
Well, he's brought his numbers up a few points than different the last
Good.
time we looked in the ninth end of play, but a struggle so far. But again, coming up with some big shots when required. And as you say, in the second half of the game, he's been very good.
There could have been nerves early. That's certainly understandable in this environment.
Both the same.
Hair more.
Both the same.
Easy, guys. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Line's a little tighter.
Both
Clean it. More weight.
Both
Clean
the
it.
same.
Stay cleaning.
Both the same.
Line's good. Line's good. Just
So
hard clean.
smart to keep one brush down at all times.
Yep, yep, yep. Hard, hard. Good, good. Good.
I'm keeping my eye on Robert Desjardins a little bit because he is the one that's a little emotional, maybe a little hyper, a little tense. And as the other team, Manitoba, was playing their shot just now, he was tidying the rocks at the back and not watching. And that's one way to try and keep away from thinking about your shots too much. You just walk up, put down the broom, play them, and distract yourself a little bit as the other team is playing. At this stage, he knows the ice. Doesn't really have to watch that.
You know, and it's a funny thing because having done as much bowling coverage as I've done, 10-pinners in particular, they won't watch. They'll look away. They'll tell from the sound of the splash. They'll hear they know what's going on. They don't need to read the lanes. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we
and I
can do
think
that
it really depends on the player. Some players gain confidence watching the other rocks come down, but sometimes you just have to use your mental skills and try and stay focused on just your game.
I mean, it's makeable, Rich. It is makeable.
Oh, I know.
To push it back button. As long as I stay half buried. This is edge on edge, right?
Yeah.
But he would have a
crouch
double, too.
He plays the run double.
You got both ways at it, right?
Yeah, I think you're better if I can get these three lined up.
Yeah. Okay. Chance of
Shot rock, get my shooter in a little bit.
Okay.
If I straight tap it, as long as I tap it past this, it's not terrible. If you want to tap it to the tee line, guys, split the tee.
So basically it's a button draw, right?
Yeah.
Back button draw.
Yeah, throwing it basically by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
I think so. The sweepers can go ahead.
I think we can hold it. Yeah.
Okay.
Smart skipping choices here for a young
Just,
skip and
back
Rob
button.
Fowler. Just going to try to tap that a little bit, maybe even get to the inside. If they're not shot rock, at least the rock he's throwing will be usable with his last one. If you try to tap it on the corner, you might set up a yellow double.
Not a 310 to tee anymore.
I think they're trying to almost tap it straight back, Linda.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They looked at that red one for a moment.
I'm going to give it a
I
chance.
think that side, that red combination is pretty tough. Oh, still trying to keep the nerves at
Pretty
bay.
close to that same shot I played in 7.
Rob would love to be shot rock here, but not with setting up the double.
So here in this extra, we're playing skip stones, and Manitoba's Rob Fowler with his first.
This is the button draw they played in 7 where they overbrushed it, or it would have been perfect.
Gotta go wait. Gotta go wait. Whoa, good. Whoa. It's gonna curl. Yep. Hard. Hard. Bump it.
Great shot.
And there's the movement you suggested that they would have to make eventually, Russ, as he bumps it up to be shot stone.
Very nice. Not only was the speed spot on, but he tried to get this yellow one he's throwing as tight as he could to the center line to try to protect a double.
Dès que je la pogne dans... Je peux pogner sur le nose, je peux pogner jusque-là. Les deux jaunes s'en vont, à mon avis, right? Je regarde la crunch, c'est comment? Ben, en fait, basse, même si je la pogne drette, tu sais, comme... Je nose la 7, les deux s'en vont, jusqu'à 3/4 au-dessus, à cause qu'elle va tirer dessus. J'ai de la marge à l'impact là-dessus.
Ça, ici, le trip.
Ouais, le trim, mais il va contourner
Ah,
top
là,
bouton.
il vient top bouton. Non, je pense que ça, c'est la shot. Ça, j'ai de la marge à l'impact là-dessus.
C'est ici, là.
J'arrive de là à
Ben,
là.
ici,
Les 3 jaunes sont
d'après
partis,
moi,
il y a
elle
plus de
va
garde.
tirer un peu, ça
Elle
prendra
osait pour
peut-être
gagner
pas.
après. Yeah, like it. OK. Médium comme ça. Un petit peu plus. Trop plein, pas une option.
Ouais, je sais.
Like this, Linda?
Well, you can see his difficulty if he plays directly onto the yellows. I think that may be an edge covered. And he's concerned about jamming it onto his own.
That was the key, wasn't it? The yellow wasn't covered. It would have been a simple straight back double.
Ouais, une demi jusqu'à un tiers, on est correct.
Jusqu'à un tiers?
Ouais, un tiers, on est correct. Si tu pognes ici, là, on va venir la pogner là, on est correct, il va y avoir du spin.
On n'a pas les mêmes fractions. On a jamais les mêmes fractions. Je sais pas pourquoi je parle de fractions. On n'arrive pas au même chiffre, jamais. Plus!
He can make both these yellows go away if he hits the red in the right spot. The angles are pretty good, really. Just a fair on the high side.
No! Whoa. Close! Yes! Yes!
Here they go.
Whoa!
Whoa! What has he got here with his first? Going to make it, spill it away. Opens it all up. Shot stone for the moment. Here's Quebec.
He was yelling about the brushing, trying not to get them to overbrush and hit it too thinly. He just wanted to get them moving. And move they did.
A little thicker, he gets both of them. But it's wide open now. The worst thing he's going to have is a wide open hit here.
So a timeout called by Manitoba.
One, of course, in the extra.
They were trucking a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
That's why I'm thinking.
If we get too far off with nice, it's not
No,
good. So probably throw bumper and
so.
What do you think? Like
roll
bumper
it a rock
weight,
and a half is
bumper
great.
weight right there.
Try to roll like pin maybe?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't even mind right to there.
It's getting sludgy for
Yeah.
drawing.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that yet.
Yeah,
so.
he hasn't thrown a draw for a while, so.
Okay, I agree.
That's lovely to
We're just
listen
saying
in, isn't it?
9, I threw nice and it ran pretty straight. So we'll throw bumper, try and get
Bumper weight, roll it a rock and a half, 2 rocks.
Yeah, a little over half and
Yeah,
try and roll
rock.
there. Nose and he's got a catcher, right?
Yeah.
I think we want to get it off,
here
get it out of the 4 foot, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Let him draw.
I agree.
Bumper weight, eh? Okay.
The coach knew it and the team knew it before they even called the timeout that they were going to play the hit. And that's called freezing the kicker, isn't it, Vic? there weren't too many other options, but this makes Quebec think about this last shot and build the pressure a little bit more. It's totally legal. You have your timeouts, you can use them, and it also gave Rob a chance to know exactly where he wanted to put the broom, the speed he wants to throw.
But again, Linda, if this roll away from center line isn't made, then do you think, in fact, it will be the hit to stay?
Yes.
It will. As long as he cannot hit to be shot, he'll be forced to draw. You think it will?
Well, what they're trying to play is to force him to draw, because the better play when you have to be precise and have to roll off a rock is actually to draw instead of hit.
Final stone. Shot rock does belong to Quebec. Manitoba. The team from Chicoutimi does have the hammer. Well, he'd like to roll away here a little bit. Doesn't want to particularly sit right there. So just roll it away a little bit. And he will now to the edge of the 4. Is that roll enough now for him? Now they're going to tap the pin. So he's going to draw.
He actually wanted to roll a shade farther, but to answer your question, it's perfect roll now that they're going to play the draw, because that shrinks that scoring area even farther. And now the interesting thing
is... Look at him now. He's whistling while he works. I mean, he's coming down here trying to remain calm. Do you like the fact? I mean, he didn't roll as far. Is the hit and the roll back for the shot stone, is that the better play than the draw?
Well, it looks a little simpler when you're in an extra end. The building's empty. You're not exactly sure about draws. You've seen an opposition hog a rock. I mean, there's a lot of questions in your mind. That's one thing.
Full 4-foot is what he needs for the win over Manitoba on this opening draw. Robert Desjardins. Your clock, you started your watch there. Linda, what'd you think?
It doesn't look slow, let's put it that way, but we do know that it's slowing down a little bit in the slide path.
Full 4. Villeneuve, Monroe, full 4 for a big win on the can. You can hear them put it on the can.
Cool.
Absolutely cool. Quebec will come through with an upset in this opening draw against one of the favored teams, Manitoba. Make the final 7-6 for Robert Desjardins from Chicoutimi over Rob Fowler from Brandon, Manitoba. We'll be with you at 7:30 Eastern Time for Draw 2. And it will be Jim Cotter from Vernon and Kelowna against Kevin Cooey, the former world Canadian champion. We're underway here in Saskatoon. 2012 Tim Hortons Brier. So till we talk with you at 7:30 Eastern Time, thank you for joining us. Canada's most comprehensive curling coverage is on Canada's sports leader, TSN. Sports Center is next.